in an hour. I've been
This is
trying to
the
calm
this
you
is the
down.
code this is the code this is the code breakers. This is paradox.
I'm trying to calm you down, bro. You on 10,
We are
man.
live.
Are we live right now?
We live.
Okay. All right. All right. This is DC. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, man? What's going on, man? You all hyping everything, man. You gotta. I hope you got a lot of that stuff out, man. Just minutes ago. You're gonna have to let me talk, man, on a program, bro. You can't be. That'd be crazy. You just he talked for a good 40 minutes straight. I'm like, golly, man. You wanted us to take the emotion out, but you just had too much of it going, man. Take it out and then you use it. See, boy, you real good. You are a paradox,
Nah,
boy. You
man.
really are,
It's
bro.
logic, bro. It's logic, bro. It's logic.
Didn't say it wasn't logic, but it's still emotional. It's emotionally
I want.
based.
Well, I'm a human being, so to
Try.
pretend that it's not
Oh,
emotional is
see,
insane.
see, see, see,
I'm not. I'm
see,
not a
see,
Vulcan. I'm
see
not a
how you do.
Vulcan.
See how you do
I'm not a
that?
Vulcan.
No,
And
but
you know
see
what's so
how you
funny?
do that, though. See how
If
you
you
do it,
study
though.
but if you even review or understand the Vulcan history, right? You know they're emotional, right? That's the funny
Oh,
part, by the way.
they were highly emotional. They were
That's the funny part.
the history of them was that they were so emotional that they were destroying
Yeah,
each other like Virtumites, like the
yeah,
Virtumite people in the Amazon series. Like they
yeah,
were so emotional, they damn near eliminated their civilization. So they had to taper their emotions down because when they get angry, they were so strong they would just kill each other. So
yeah.
hence to that
I
reasoning
love
that some of your most logical people are the most
emotional.
emotional. Yeah, exactly.
I love
You
it.
taper yourself down and then to kind of like, you know, do things to kind of because you're conscious of your emotional triggers, basically.
Yeah,
And you're
and you're
studying
always
it from
checking
the inside
it.
out. Right, you're always checking it. So yeah, I understand it, bro. Trust me, I understand.
And to make the logical decisions, you have to sacrifice.
I understand, man. So you want to go over this Dion stuff, man? Like one more time, real quick, before we dig into the political stuff, because that's the real thing. But this
It's
Dion
all
stuff seems
integrated.
to still be running a little bit longer. So um,
I
over
think the
over the
media.
past
I
week,
think
have
the
you
sports
have you
media is going
learned
to run it
anything differently
until.
from that side?
Well, I think the sports media. Well, I did learn that the sports media is not going to get off of it.
No, they're not. I think he has the highest selling jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Now he does. Let me see if this. Let me see if
Yeah,
that's.
definitely. He does in Cleveland, in Ohio.
No, I think he got all rookies now. I think it's just
I got
I
all rookies.
saw that. He was third for a while, but then I think he now is taking that over.
Yeah, which can be problematic for a backup quarterback. They're setting him up. I told you that, man. He has to shut it down, bro. I hate to say it. Hard to do. But if your talent doesn't match, you know what I'm saying, your propaganda, right? You have to chill out. That's why Baker is silent in Tampa Bay, by the way. That's why they got rid of Tim Tebow.
They got rid of Tim Tebow because he couldn't play. He wasn't a quarterback. That's why they got rid of Tim
I'm not
Tebow.
gonna debate you. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm
You
gonna let
don't
you
have to
talk.
let me have anything. See, that's what I'm saying. Don't do that
You,
when I.
you know that Tim Tebow could have played. You know they could have found Tim Tebow. So I know NFL is very
Tim
cutthroat though.
Tebow Tim Tebow could
He
not
wasn't a
throw the ball
quarterback. He wasn't
consistently.
a quarterback, but he could have played. He could have played tight end. He could have played something. They could have
He
helped
could
him
have
out,
been
bro.
he could have been like the kid. He could have
But
been
they
like the
dumped him,
kid out.
bro.
He could have been like the kid in New Orleans because I forget his name. He's sort of like a QB, but he does all these things. He runs the ball. He does like fullback things. And he kind of throws the football sometimes. They could have did Tim Tebow like that. In fact, they tried to move Tim Tebow. Remember, they tried to move him like to QB
I
or H
remember.
back and stuff like that. And
I remember.
he was getting his butt toe up because that's not his natural
I
position.
know. They try to play baseball.
So it's not, yeah, no, it's not the same. I think it's the Hill kid. I forget his name. I forget his last name.
You know what
White dude, real athletic
you know
white guy
what
who
I
played
find
quarterback for
what I
New
find
Orleans.
funny about TiVo is if he was a black kid, I just wonder the word how racist how many people would have been called racist if it was the same scenario. And they shitted on Tim Tebow. Everybody shitted on Tim Tebow. It's just very interesting how race is used to trigger people's emotions. with Tim Tebow as a white male, blonde hair, blue eyed white male, and you look at how he got treated. I find it hysterical, to be honest with you. And a deep Christian as well on top of that, which also seemed to be
Yeah.
offensive to the league as well.
That was the part. I think that's the reason why he was still a first rounder though. I mean, let me just make sure to still just
Well,
put that out there.
of course you're gonna find ways to try to make your point. I get it, but at the end of the
No,
day,
no, he still a
I
first rounder.
watched how he was being
Still
treated.
first rounder. I'm not making a point.
I wasn't blinded by his
That's a
race.
fact.
I watched how he was being treated.
That's a fact though.
He
He
was
still
not
was
being
he
saved.
still
He
was
was
the
not being
first
protected.
he
He was
still
being
was the
pressured to get
first
out
round
the
he
league by his
still was
quote
a
unquote own
first
people.
round draft pick,
Bro, they
regardless of what you
destroyed that
say.
man, bro. They
Okay.
destroyed that man, bro.
He couldn't play.
Am I lying?
He couldn't play.
No, what I mean is the media outside of Skip Bayless, the media destroyed him. The white, if you want to use race, which is what you like to do, of course, the white media destroyed him. They had no love for Tim Tebow, bro.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's number one now. So yeah, he just took it over. So it's Shadur, Travis, um, Cam Ward is third now, and Ashton Genty and Tat McMillan, and then there is the New York kids, the guy that got Abdul Carter and Jason Dart. Jason Dart is first, and Abdul is seventh. So, yeah, that's what's up. That's what happened. So
But like you said, him
he's
being a
now
fifth
the number
round
one
pick
player.
that can be cut at any moment, I just feel bad because he probably can't turn it off, and then it's probably too late. And the media is just gonna keep poking, man. And unfortunately, if he was with maybe Bill Belichick or Kansas City or somebody, they could deal with. I don't know if Cleveland is built for it. They destroyed Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, so I feel bad because he's really gonna have to do it himself, and I don't even know how you do that because he's so popular, he's so beloved, he has such a big media presence. He can make the league money, but the league wants to make money the way they want to make money, and I think the media is gonna probably consume him. I hate to say it. Deion, like I said, Deion did not play this right, but nobody's perfect. I'm only criticizing after the fact. It could have worked perfectly. He did a great job of selling his son, and the NFL decided to do what they do by putting him in the fifth. So, they need to have a conversation about we may have to tamp some of this down for a little bit until we get the big contract, maybe, or until you're able to
Yeah,
start, and we can kind of turn it back on.
I I think because that was their last pick too. That's another interesting thing. He was the
It's
last pick
messy.
that Cleveland had.
I know it's
So
messy.
and the quarterback that they picked up was the one before his pick. So it was back to back. So it was the Dillon kid, and then it was um Shadur, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
gotta
that's
be
what's so
careful
weird
because
about
in the media, same with Shannon Sharp or any media person, bro, you have to be careful, bro. I think Stephen A. is, at this point, I would have to classify. He's a master. He's a master at it. I hate to say it.
it. Master at what?
He's a
Heard of.
master, bro,
At what?
at playing the game.
And what game
Being
is
a,
that
be,
exactly?
being able to understand working for a corporation, understanding who you work for, understanding when to do things, when not to do things, who to bring on, take a risk, but also protect yourself. He's done it's been a masterpiece so far. It's impressive because you're dealing with it's a lot of moving parts that's happening. And
Mhm.
what does JD say? I'm not a businessman, I'm a business. When you're the business, not really a business person, but you're actually the business, you have to protect so much reputation, things coming out about you, being able to adjust to those things, having the right conversations in those backdoor rooms. You know what I'm saying? It just takes a lot to maintain all of that stuff. And honestly, I thought Shannon was on the same page, but he wasn't, unfortunately. He lost everything, honestly, in my opinion. And luckily, social media will save him, I believe. But
Mm.
on, on other levels,
Mhm.
you know, it's unfortunate. He ran too high, he went supernova, bro. So he's a white
Yeah.
dwarf now. I put him in a white dwarf. He's basically a white dwarf in my mind. We'll see if he can come out of there, but I doubt it. Because you know more women have come out now, so you know how that goes. So
Yeah, I know how that goes, man. It's sad for him, bro. But
because they make
you
the
got
phone calls. They will hire people to say everything. They will pay
yeah.
people off to say whatever, and you're screwed because you are your business. You know,
Hmm.
you're not separate from it. So you got to be very careful. And you do what you do, and you think that what you're doing is the right thing, and you're busting your ass. You're working on you're working nonstop, but it's not enough though. You have to still protect things that you can't slip. And like you said, you can't you can only control what you can control. And I'm sure he tried on some level to do that, but not good enough. You know, I look at Tiger Woods all the time and think, well, man, they found 15 women or 12 women that come out against you. I mean, you should have had them. You should have had them. You should have had them checks cut already.
Hmm.
NDA signed, checks cut, whatever you got to do, and suck it up. Because what you're going to lose in the bigger picture is it's insignificant money, but ego and how your emotions, etc., can blind you. Because you should be treating females like you treat business. You got to play that a certain way, but also make sure that they're straight and monitor them and keep track. You know what I'm saying? Because you're your business, so you can't afford to have any kind of negative. I was telling someone I was telling somebody I was talking to. I was traveling somewhere and I was telling somebody. I said, "Yeah, Kobe lost everything. People don't really maybe not remember that, but they was moving Kobe to that MJ level. And the
Yeah.
moment he got jammed up in Utah, wherever, Colorado, wherever it was, that was a wrap. You don't come back. It don't work like that. You can somehow come back to a certain level, but you got to think. I forgot when that was, but it took him 20 years, and I think by him retiring and being with what I'm saying, and having his daughters there, it was coming back again. It was coming back around for him.
Hmm.
And I don't know what that was gonna. If he would have stayed alive, I don't know what that would have turned into. But because of America and how it's set up, if he got too hot, what they were going to do was very easy. Just hit him again with it though. And I've seen it happen to other people where they were making their way back, and people basically forgot, and the other people who run things, start to push it back out and say, well, don't forget this, and he did this, and they have protesters popping up everywhere. You know how they go. Same with it happened with Michael Vick with the Dolls things. When Mike was coming back, they said we can't do that, so they had to Peter folks and other folks come back around again to remind the corporations and the marketer, you know what I'm saying, the people who do all the advertising and stuff, to remind them that we ain't forgot. So if you try to reform him, we're not gonna let you do that. We're gonna keep hitting you. You know. So it is what it is, but that's the game. And I just thought that Shannon probably knew better, but you know, nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Nobody's perfect. That is for sure.
I think he may have lost his $100 million deal. That they were, what at least that's what the number they report is. I should say.
Hmm.
And I think he lost some of his sponsors already too. And he's never going back to ESPN. I was they taking a break and say, yeah, that's not happening either, bro. Don't work like that. And even with Deion and Shadour, it was like, well, Deion, like I was thinking before, I was watching the whole video, I was like, oh shit, Deion actually he's a diva. He's Terrell Owens. He's Chad Ocho. Like, you're not beloved. It's just that I think people have forgotten. It's been like 30 years at this point now, right? You're rebranding, but clearly, like you said, the league hasn't forgotten anything. Obviously,
Long memories, bro.
yeah,
Long memories. Very long.
yeah. And I can tell you,
And
if Shadour was an amazing, crazy athlete, then it probably would be a different conversation. But he's not, so it's tricky.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't even know if if he's Cam Ward, he still gets drafted early. I don't know
Yeah.
if you keep everything the same.
No, I
If
was
you
saying
look at
if he was Michael Vick or
it would
Cam
have to
Newton, he'd
be,
be straight.
yeah, it
Wouldn't
would be like,
matter.
yeah, Cam Ward is not even in that field to be where he's Teflon
Hell
to some of
no.
the stuff. So
You
he
think
could have
You
failed.
think Cam Ward went first last year?
No,
Right. Yeah.
absolutely not. Not over Jaden Daniels and the
No.
other kid. Nah,
No.
absolutely not. No, no, no.
No.
He would have probably went in the second round, actually. High second.
I
Him
think
and
so.
Shador.
Him and
Yeah,
Shador. Yeah.
yeah. They came
Yeah.
out.
So we know the
It would
limitations,
have
but
been but that's what I'm saying. But being that the focus has been
But
on
we're
them,
talking
so
prospects versus reality, of course, right?
but here's the thing. Yeah, like this is all like our opinion, but based off how I view things, because the spotlight wouldn't have been focused on them too so much because they're not the
Nope.
top at the top of the heap. That
Right.
their fall would not have been so precipitous. So it wouldn't have been something people would have recognized initially if it happened, and then they could have got drafted properly in last year's draft at second round, maybe
Yeah.
late second with Shadur. Somebody would have took a chance on him, and because he's not in the spotlight. But the fact that he
Yeah.
became the second one, or it was some drafts where they had him going fourth to the Giants. That's crazy, bro. Like some of that, I mean, to fall. That's what I'm.
It is based
The
off your
thing,
draft class too, right? Because like even next year,
but
someone's
that's
going first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, it doesn't really matter
yeah.
about how
And
great you
normally
might be.
quarterback.
You're gonna pick people. You're gonna pick. You have no choice in the
Yeah,
draft,
if
right?
the
So
next
we
the
have
next
it's
quarterback
context with that
yeah,
too.
the next quarterback that's ready to run a franchise. This is what it comes down to. What I want people to understand when you
I
talk
don't
about
think
it in
any
a sense.
rookie quarterback is ready to run anybody team of it. That's I think all that we knew that 20 years ago. That's
The
fugazi
the
anyway. Really.
I'm saying the point of view that's based off the playing style, playing in a certain kind of environment. You saw the tape, you saw everything that was out there. Even outside of his bad interviews, I believe his interviews were probably worse. He probably just like, I'm not going to talk to you. Probably did what his dad did to a degree. I don't think it's important to even go up there and draw on a board. I haven't studied any of your playbooks. I haven't done any
His
of that.
dad
You
has
may
some
have sent
gas
that.
up, bro.
Yeah,
His
that's what I'm
dad
saying.
got
You
some
may
gas
you
up.
may have sent me something and I didn't look at it, so I don't want to participate in all that. So yeah, that is part of the reason why he dropped so far. But if you look at what most teams do, even when because it's a risk either way it goes. If you have a weak class like this, you try to pick the next best thing as far as like a chance, or even if it's a flyer. So like, say he falls out the first round, okay, cool, that makes sense. You may like Jackson Dart better than him, or even the other kid, Tyler Shoe. But past the second round, because normally you'll take a flyer, and a lot of people don't pick. People pick their other elite or the secondary people on their draft, which means that you did not even think to even take a flyer on him as being a person that can possibly lead your franchise in the future. Sitting him on the bench, you can put him on the bench, you can store him away, you can coach him up. You see, he has the traits to where he can actually run a pro offense, a pro style offense, right? He can throw out of the
Yeah, but he's
pocket.
not. But
He has that
he's
kind of
unproven.
thing.
He's
Oh,
unproven. He's loud though. It's problematic, bro.
I don't see him as loud. He doesn't come off
He's
as loud to
loud
me.
and unproven, bro.
I don't
It's,
he don't come off as loud to
Deion
me.
should know better. But
Mm-mm.
Deion has his own enemies that he hates, that he can't stand as well. And he's also
That's
playing a
true.
game of perception where he know his son isn't that good. And so I like that he oversold it because that's what you want to do, right? You want to overvalue because you're trying to get your son into the league. So it's very, like you said, that's some level of complexity there because I know what he was doing. And by doing that, he knew that there are repercussions to it, but his son is in the league. So it doesn't really matter, right? Like the goal itself has been accomplished.
I'm gonna
So
give you.
forget,
I'm gonna give
regardless
you.
of what all the media is talking about and everybody's
Hold
having
on.
their opinion about it to get their clicks or
So
whatever, his goal has been accomplished. The kid is in the league, and I would argue with you that, like you said, if he wasn't under that son's name, under Deion's name, what would that look like? I would argue, does he even get into the league if he wasn't Deion's son historically? So
here's the scouting report. Right. This is from NFL.com. Right. Uh, this is for Shadur Sanders. Spectacular ball placement on all areas of the field. Arguably the most. This is before the draft, by the way.
yeah, yep,
Arguably the most accurate deep ball thrower in college. Shown major improvement in mechanics and in his lower body. Effective passer and processor under pressure. Good pocket poise in terms of movement and feel for pressure. Effective accuracy when thrown off platform. Now, that is the most important part of the NFL game. Because if you can't throw while you scrambling in the NFL, you are cooked. And a lot of these guys, when they fall,
see, don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
that's what I'm saying,
Put on
bro.
put on your DAC. Don't do that to me. Don't start reading no reports. Don't
I'm
read me no
not,
reports.
I'm
I
not,
don't care
hold
about no
on,
rankings. I don't
hold
care
on,
about all that scammy stuff. Do
hold on.
should I
Listen
start
to what I'm
listing
saying, though.
quarterbacks? Do you want to do
That's what I'm
that?
saying. That's what I'm
You
saying,
know
though.
better though. Don't
That's
fall
what
for
I'm
that. You
saying. That's what I'm
know,
saying, though.
put on the DAC.
Listen
Put
to
on the
what
Dakota. Rain
I'm
Prescott's lenses,
saying,
bro. Don't
I,
do that to me. These kids are not ready to do anything,
I'm
bro.
just,
Let's not do that.
I'm just,
It's
I'm
all
just,
fake.
I'm just,
It
I'm just
don't get
saying,
real.
I'm
He
just
can
saying.
roll out all he
Listen,
wants to in college. He can be
listen.
average all he wants to in college. You know how this
He had
works
one
when
of
it
the
gets to
worst.
the
He
NFL,
had
bro.
one of the worst
You
lines, but
know
I'm saying
way more than
he
me,
had
bro.
one of the worst.
If
He
you
had
do
one of
not
the
have
worst lines in
protection,
football.
bro, you know how
He
fast
had one
these
of the
guys
worst
off
lines
defense,
in
man.
college football. Seriously, he did.
And he got one of the best lines in Cleveland. What
No,
we doing right now, bro?
no,
Don't do that
no,
to me, bro.
no.
Are these guys
All I'm doing is
faster
reading.
and more elite on the defense in the NFL?
All I'm
And look
doing is
at where
reading the
he's
scouting
at,
report. All I'm doing is reading the scouting report. That's all I'm doing, bro. I'm saying about his trait on how
we
it
know
can translate
that's
into the
just
next
fugazi, bro.
league. That's it.
Yeah,
Incredible
but
sense of touch and lock. Hold on.
hold on,
Incredible sense of touch and
no,
lock
don't
and
do that to
passing.
me. Don't
Fairly
do that to
clean
me.
injury, with the only concern being a back injury. That's what they said. I'm
Tell me
just
how
reading it
tell
off,
me how
man.
Peyton Manning looked his
Off
first year.
NFL.com,
Go
bro.
ahead. Give me go pull up Peyton Manning's information when he was in college, and then tell me how he did his first year.
He was the number one pick of the draft, though. We're talking about draft stock, bro.
Tell me how he did when he got into the league his first couple of years. That's all I
He
want
led
to
the
hear.
league. He led the league in
Because you're
interceptions.
saying things
He led the league in
to me.
interceptions.
I'm like, what are we doing right now? You're Mel Kiper all of us. What are we talking about right now? Let's not do that. Let's not
He
do the
led the
fantasy stuff,
league.
bro.
We're not doing the fantasy stuff.
You
I'm
just
telling
did
you
it.
what they said. No, I'm
You're
just telling
reading
you
me
what they
numbers.
said about
That
it.
don't
I'm
mean
not reading
nothing when you
numbers.
get into the league.
I'm not reading numbers. But first of all, you act like these people knew about who he really was. So you're saying that they knew actually who he really was? Come on, man. That's not what happened here. That's not the reason why he failed.
Bruh,
That's
come
all I'm
on,
telling
man.
you. That's not the. So
You're
you
the
saying
X's and O's
play on
guy,
the field?
right?
Hold on. So
I'm
the play
more
on the
just the
field.
watching the game guy and how the
Paradox.
politics works. You
Paradox.
know how NFL football politics
Paradox.
work. Even if you're great, you know
Paradox.
how manipulative that environment is. If you don't
Cam
have the
Ward.
right protection, you don't have the receivers. If things aren't connected with you and the coach, the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, the fucking G. I mean, bro, you know all of what's going on, bro. They can make great players look bad. So let's not even do that right now. You know how this works in the NFL.
Cam Ward, right? Cam Ward and Shaduer Sanders were the most ready quarterbacks to come out of the draft, man, this year. That's all I'm saying. There's a gap. There is a gap. There is a gap.
Ready to do what?
Possibly
Your
start for a football team.
Your Dacklin's on, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
What's the kid in
Possibly to
Chicago
start for a
name?
football
What's
team.
my man name? What's my man name in Chicago?
Williams. I forget his first name actually. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams.
How was Caleb in college? Did he win the Heisman? How was Caleb in college?
Up and down. He really was an up and down. He had elite traits. He could throw the ball.
When did he go in the draft?
He played at USC. He was up and down. He was not.
When
he was
did
not
he go
that
in
great
the
in
draft?
college, bro.
Don't do that. When did he go in the draft?
He went number one.
Wow. So he's not that great, but he went number one. How was his draft class for quarterbacks?
It was very high because it was him.
Okay.
It was Jaden Daniels.
All right, DC. He goes to Chicago,
Bo
right?
Nix.
He replaces the other first round. He replaces the other first round draft pick. What's my man name in Carolina?
Actually,
he replaced that guy. How he look at Chicago the last year? Is it 2 years now or 1 year? How do he look? 2 years, right? How he look?
Yeah.
How he look?
And
he about to get cut.
You make
it right.
He
about to get cut, right?
You make
anybody get cut, right? You know anybody get no contract, right?
You're making my point for me though, Paradox. So regardless of,
I don't want to conflate two things, right? Because you can be great in college, it doesn't translate.
So
scouts and owners and they know the reality. Forget what they're telling you on television and all the talking heads on TV, creating all this bullshit perception. You know that college kids, we've known it for 20 years. It is almost it doesn't exist pretty much.
But you wasn't picking Bo Nix or any of these other guys over Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams. Regardless of that. That's what I'm trying to. That's all I'm saying, man. So everything you said is accurate. I agree with it. You can't really predict even how a guy's going to deal with all the pressure.
Even if their first year is good. Jaden Daniels had an amazing Redskins first year. Guess what? We're going to see this year when them D coordinators get a hold of that film this year, right? We're going to see what's going to happen, right?
Look at Jordan Love. Jordan Love fell back to the
Bruh.
pack.
CJ
There's a
Stroud.
lot of them. CJ Stroud fell back to the pack a little bit. It happens.
And by the way, the other top 10 picks, the Daniel Joneses and the Mac Jones of the world are ghosts.
It happens.
They're ghosts, bro. They're ghosts. So we know it's complex. So how do you balance out the conversation? What I'm asking, how do you balance out the conversation?
You got Drake May got drafted. So it was Caleb Williams. It was Caleb Williams, USC. It was Jaden Daniels.
Except for 3 years, he's still trash. Well, he's good. He's not trash. He's good, but he's not.
Damn, they had Shaduer third last year. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's great. No. Remember, DC. What? Don't get it twisted though. So the business of the draft and the college game and what Deion did is a masterpiece to me, because he was able, he does understand that, and forget all of the other stuff about who likes him, who don't like him. He's brash. Forget all that stuff. He had a mission to get his child into the NFL, and he did that. And you know what I'm saying? He did a great job of it. It's going to be messy, which I think he probably, even on some level, probably even expected, right? It can go either way here. It can be very messy and things can unravel, which they did, or it can go through cleanly. Either way, once you get into the actual league and you actually try to play for a team, either starting or you win the starting position or whatever you do, or sit behind a guy for a year or two, we still know once you get on the field what that looks like. The reason why Dak has outlasted his entire draft class and the three draft classes in front of him that they was trying to shit on him with. Yeah, so we clearly understand how complicated and how messy the process is, depending on the team, the coach, the GM. Are they going to spend the money to protect you? And then are they going to start saying, well, why do you need protection? It gets all funky with that, by the way, because the quarterback play, the quarterback style is also transitioning as well on top of all of that. Yeah, you know more than I do. Why am I talking?
Yeah, let me take that. Caleb was he didn't translate into wins on the field, but he balled out his last year. It was 4,537 yards in the year.
Did you watch the games? Did you watch the games though?
I didn't watch.
You didn't watch no Chicago games. You want to play some Chicago games so you can see how he plays?
I watched them in the pros. No, when they get to the league, I watch.
That's what I mean in the pros. That's what I mean in the pros.
Yeah. I'm talking about his last college year. He did. He got his work in. 42 touchdowns.
That's what I was telling you.
32 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. So he
did his thing.
Yeah, he did his thing. So yeah, he deserved that number one pick.
Of course he did. That, like you said, that's more of the you're positioning yourself to get this amazing multi-million-dollar job, right? So we understand the process to do that. I think Deion accomplished that goal. I don't care what round he went in. He accomplished the goal of having a push on the system to say, I'm gonna create such a high-profile environment that even if the children I'm trying to get drafted isn't at the level that they may or may not should be, it doesn't matter, because that's not the point. The point, and Deion has, if you follow him, he's been telling those kids that from the beginning. When you come here with me, you're going to be high profile. So you may not even be at the certain talent level as maybe other guys, but there's going to be so many eyes on you. You're going to be so marketable that they're going to get you no matter what, because you have a name already. He understands that part of the business that the NFL cannot deny. Now, it's your job once you get to lead to figure it out and try to deliver, but he's going to get you in there hook or crook. So I'm not going to take that part from him. Getting into some of the comments of responding to, like, Chris Carter was making some weird comments about Deion and his son, and some other people making some weird comments. I'm like, I think y'all are kind of missing what Deion's whole strategy was. Don't get caught up in him making his son great. That's his job as a father and a coach anyway. Mm-hmm. On some level, you guys are haters because Deion because of his skill set, has the ability to create to get eyes on him. And to be able to do that, right? That's why he had 8 guys go in the draft. So he's because a lot of, as you know, a lot of great talent gets buried. You know that, right? And you might get lucky that a scout happened to see you at the junior college, or you just happened that day. You know what I'm saying? That you popped on film one day at a particular game, at a particular high profile game. Deion is giving you high profile 24/7, 365 for 48 months, bro. It's unmatched.
So let me give you the rest of the first round of last year's. This is how deep they were. So you had, I forgot about this. So you had Michael Penix Jr., which is now the quarterback. So he basically expelled Kirk Cousins from Atlanta. He's the reason why he's out. So Michael Penix Jr.'s job is there now. So that he's the starting quarterback. Bo Nix is in Denver. Bo Nix had an up and down season last year. He did okay though. He was decent. He kind of got.
I saw
He
some.
kind of
I
got.
saw something with. I saw something with him though. He gonna need more
Yeah.
time though.
Well. Sean
Caleb,
Payton
Caleb,
is
Caleb too, by the way.
Yeah, Sean Payton is kind of putting him in a cocoon, kind of,
Yeah,
having
yeah.
him
He
kind of
could code
protected
him.
by,
Yeah,
have him protected by the running game out there in Denver. So he's
yeah,
building the team around him. And then you
yeah.
have
Because he'll
JJ
start seeing
McCarthy.
ghosts. You got to be careful with him.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy's in Minnesota. He sat out like kind of like a red shirt year. That was a good thing that he got to sat out and kind of watch.
Yeah,
So he's probably going to
yeah,
be a lot better if other than basically coming out and starting off, because Sam Darnold was the quarterback there. Now he's going to take over, and they have a high-powered offense. They got Jay
yep.
Addison on
Yeah, they
one
ready to go.
side,
They
and then you
cooking.
have they cooking ready with fish grease, bro. They ready to rock and roll, and they got
Yep,
Jefferson,
yep.
which is the consensus best receiver in the league. So yeah, they ready to rock and roll with him.
And as you know, when they start throwing them defenses at you, bro, you really get to see. And it takes some time. I think it takes 4 or 5 years. That's my perspective on it. I think it takes 4 or 5 years for you to really try to understand defenses at the NFL level and what defense that they're throwing at you, for you to really be able to, if you can make it that far, we can kind of assess, right? So me and you look at your boy Jared Goff, we assessed it, right? We gave him that time. He had talent. He wasn't that guy though, right?
No, he
He,
was
he
not.
had a Super Bowl talented team, but he wasn't that guy. And the team wasn't set up for like San Francisco, where we just need you not to make mistakes. It's a different system, different structure of a team, different talent on the team. Of course, we know everything's a little bit different on each team, so we can sort of see how they're going to play. A lot of it, like you said, a lot of it has to do with the team that you're going to and how they're cocooning you, basically, right? That's I mean, like RG3, we knew was exposed, bro. You on your own, you don't even know it, bro. They're gonna roast you. You're gonna be destroyed, which is what they did, unfortunately. They destroy quarterbacks. So they churn through. People don't understand. They churn through quarterbacks. If you pay attention, they churn through quarterbacks like they do running backs almost. Like they just churn through. They don't. People don't. They just grabbing guys. They'll run through you, man. You out here getting smoked, and you start seeing ghosts what's our favorite boy? that was matched up with that. What's my man name? I think he's a backup now,
Um,
right?
the one that played for
They play for
Philly
Philly.
for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Shit, man, why can I not remember
They,
his
they,
name?
they
We
got
just
hurt,
talked
and
about
Nick
him
and
too.
Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl with his team, which he
They
definitely would
love
have lost
this
the Super Bowl if it
dude.
wasn't for him. By the way.
Jeez, why
Yeah,
am I forgetting this
he
dude?
got her seeing, like, bro, we watching this man. I thought we watched all his games. It felt like, right, for at least 2 years. Like this dude is
Yeah,
tripping right now.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you gotta tighten
He'll
up. You
make
gotta get you gotta.
he'll make a great throw, then he'll make three bad ones. It was
Yep,
crazy. You'd be
it was
like, damn,
crazy.
well, what's going on with him?
Yeah.
It's not Jared Goff. Does his name begin with a
No,
J
no,
though?
no, no,
It's not Jared Goff. You're talking about the one that
no.
played for Philly though.
He
Why
played
can
for
I not
Philly,
remember?
and then they traded him to. I forget where they traded him. Now I think he's a backup somewhere. But matter of
I
fact,
think
take the ball.
I think he's a backup for
He is.
Kansas City.
Yeah. That's where he at. But think about your boy that they traded from Pittsburgh. That's now in Cleveland. What's his name? What? Explain that to me.
Carson Wentz. Carson
Yeah,
Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Jesus,
Yeah,
I
Wentz.
cannot believe it took me this
Carson Wentz out
long.
there wincing all the time.
Carson Wentz. Because that's
Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky swore up and down. This and that,
Woo!
he's good at this and that.
He's a
He can
he's
throw the
he's a
ball
guy.
through this, but the most the but people forget like the only reason why I read that report is because those traits, regardless of whether Shadur is going to show them on a pro level, are the most important things for an NFL quarterback. Everything that they had there, that's what I'm saying. Everything that they had there is what all NFL quarterbacks need. I don't
Bruh,
care who it is.
Carson Wentz had a
You could be as
squad, bruh.
talented. That's what I'm saying. You could be as talented as Josh Allen. You
On
could be as
Philly.
talented as Lamar Jackson. But if you don't have those if they don't show those traits on a consistent basis, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose, especially in the playoffs. You're not gonna win, man.
Well,
You're not
even
being able to throw
well,
the
no.
ball off the
Take
platform,
those
being
two.
accurate. deep ball throws, all of that, especially when deep balls present themselves, you can't miss. In the playoffs, you can't miss. You got to
Can't
be able
miss.
to hit them,
You
man.
can't miss. You got to connect. But that's not
You
that's
got to
not just the
connect.
quarterback too, though. You know that though. That's not just the quarterback. But we've seen that. But we've seen that with like you said. I mean, you know, it's so many things happening. But if you look at what's my man name? If you look at your boy in Buffalo, you look at Lamar, and even if you look at the old head for the Jets, who they got rid of last year for the Jets, he may be on Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers, right? You know that there is a certain amount of time that they can tolerate you, a certain time they're going to deal with you. You know, they'll give you the reins, you know, and if you know what I'm saying, they give a lot of quarterbacks a lot of chances. And even if you look at Lamar, I think you tell me if I'm wrong or not. He has to take the next level, the next step of maturity, to understand when he's in that pressure cooker. Because you're only gonna go to the playoffs so many times. You know that's gonna come to an end at some point. Same with your boy in Buffalo. They keep thinking you're gonna have a chance year after year. It doesn't work like that, right? We know it's a cap.
Right.
And so even with Lamar, you know, Lamar made some mistakes that that I would argue that cost him a Super Bowl. On him, nobody else in my opinion. But then you have to look at the coach. You know, you went back and looked at that like, well, you know, why are you calling those plays? Who's telling this man to throw this football when he should probably be running? You know what I'm saying? We knew that there was some things that we wasn't sure what was happening exactly. It didn't make any sense. They weren't even playing their style of football. So that gets weird. I think a lot of that maybe falls on Harbaugh. But Lamar's going to take the hit for that, right? So we know that's going to be the same way with Shaduer in Cleveland, is that coaches can take the blame for something. You see what I'm saying? How we know how that also, all that plays a part in all of this.
Yeah.
Because imagine being a first round pick and getting traded. Your boy that got traded to Carolina from Chicago. It's like, damn, I just got here. You picked me first round. I think it was the first round pick, actually. When did they pick the kid from Pittsburgh and he's traded to Cleveland? When did they pick him, by the way? Did he go top 10?
Ooh. For Pittsburgh, the kid, what's the kid's name again?
I can't remember. Pickett, I think maybe. George Pickett.
Kenny Pickett went. Yeah, he went first round. Not 24, 23. 23, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he went the late first round. Yeah. Late first round. Yeah. And he played. Yeah, you're right. He played for Pittsburgh too. Yeah, he was a hometown pick. Yeah, he played at the University of Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know, and me and you know that.
And he was smallish. Right. He wasn't. Yeah, he was smallish. Not very. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was very surprising. What happened with that?
And they was gassing him too, bro. He gonna do this on his. I said, what are y'all? What are y'all seeing that me and DC not seeing? We don't see nothing of that.
Yeah,
and now he gone. Now he gone.
Yeah, that was kind of like, that was a glazed job. Now that was glazing. Yeah, that was strictly glazing.
Hard, bro.
Very hard glazing. Yeah, he wasn't on Shaduer's level. No, not absolutely not. So right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Now I want Shaduer to surprise me, but me and you both know, like I said, those defenses. I keep going back. Those defenses, bro. And if you don't have the right protection, if they're not on the same page, bro, we have just seen it too. Me and you have spent at least 10 years. I feel like it's been like 20, just looking at just quarterbacks in the NFL as they come in and as they come and go, and just kind of look at preparation, understanding their relationship with the coaching staff. Are they improving every year? Are they making the necessary adjustments they need to make every year? And, you know, having protection or not having protection, right? How they respond to that. You know what I'm saying? The connection they have with the receivers and the tight ends. It's just interesting that, you know, you can't, on some level, you can't necessarily blame the quarterback, but unfortunately, they're going to take the hit for it. And my concern in Cleveland is that if Shaduer has to be very careful how he plays this, to be honest with you. And I won't lie, when you really think about it, though, the attention does not help. I hate to say it, you know that. It just does not help a quarterback, bro, until you're winning something. They was even killing our boy in Philly, right? What they trying to talk about trading him last year?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, there was a little bit of noise about him, and they're not sure he's connecting with the. They was trying to fire the coach or something. It was messy.
They were talking about how he kind of fell off last year, but he was hurt last year too. So
he was hurt.
I mean, he's a very efficient highly controlled kind of quarterback that needs a running game. I mean, he's just like any other quarterback that's out here.
No,
He's good though.
break him
He's
down
good.
though, DC. Come on, be honest though. Break him down, bro. Is he a great quarterback, DC? Is he elite? Is he special? Give me some action. What have you seen?
Um, he's powerful. He's a powerful runner of the football.
Hmm.
He knows when to run and when not to run. He's very elusive in that kind of way, where he
Yeah.
stays low to the ground. He doesn't fumble the ball a lot. He doesn't put the ball on the ground. Okay, basically, it's one of his unique things, and he makes a deep ball throw in the most unique of moments. Like he trusts. He has great receivers. I mean, don't. I'm not. It's hard to see how good he is, but I would say that his mental his mental capabilities with his elite athletic traits fits him well because he doesn't lead with his athleticism, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Like he's not going to wow you with his athleticism because he doesn't lead with it. He could be one of these guys that's just like always running, like running for first downs all the time. Like he's doing it all the time, but he does it in such devastating moments. You like, damn, I forgot that Jalen Hurts can actually run. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll shake a dude off, like it'll be guys blitzing him, and he'll shake about two or three dudes off because he has very powerful legs. He's built like a running back, like a big running back, like a tall running back, basically. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me if like a Adrian Peterson played football. I mean, played quarterback, sort of but kind of built short. He's shorter than AP, but I'm saying like kind of like he looks like a running back to me. Like you can put him in the backfield. Like he looks like a kind of like a lean kind of running back style kind of guy, but he just plays quarterback position. And there's a positive to that because he's very low to the ground. When he stands to throws, he can make those kind of throws. Now his weaknesses are he doesn't throw the intermediate ball very well. The 15 yarders, the 10 yard kind of like in the pocket kind of yards where Dak kind of eats off of. He doesn't live in that kind of zone. He throws the deep ball well. He throws the over route very very well. He throws to the tight end very well. But like I said, he has very talented skill position guys. He has two tight ends that can ball out that are crazy. He has Dallas Goddard, um, the um, the Heisman winner trophy kid on one side, and he has AJ Brown, of course, which is a monster. AJ Brown is a monster. Period. You throw it
I
up,
know,
throw the
man.
ball up.
Philly
You
Philly
throw the
keep
ball
making
up.
the
You
right
remember the
moves,
Washington
man.
game
Every
last
year
year?
it seems
Hold on.
like.
You remember the Washington
Yes.
game last year where they
Yes.
came back and they took the game from Washington? They was up.
Yep.
Washington was up. He just threw that joint up to AJ. AJ Brown just sunned. I mean, that's just how AJ
Mhm.
is, bro. Just throw
I
it up,
know,
bro.
man. He's
And
special.
he was mad too. He was like, man, you ain't throwing me the ball the whole game. Over there reading the book and shit. But when he throws the ball up, and yo, AJ Brown he's a lot
He's
like
a guy, bro.
he's a better tracker than DK.
Yeah.
DK is more like throw it to him. DK more like a supersized TO. Throw it to him short and he just get busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
AJ Brown is like he becomes a monster deep. Like you go 50 yards down the field, he can track the
It's
ball,
insane, bro.
jump at the right time, and it doesn't matter what the coverage is. He's just pretty much going to he's going to come down with that joint.
That's
Either it's
right.
going to be an incomplete or it's going to be a completed touchdown
That's
pass.
it.
And if you could trust a guy like that, oh man, I wish we had an AJ Brown. Gee, can you imagine, bro? See, we got pretty boys. See, the thing is, I love CD. CD gets loose because he got like kind
He's
of space
special.
what I call space game. He knows how to
Yeah.
get spacey on you. You know what I mean? He kind of
Mhm.
shifty in the hips. So CD does it a little bit differently because CD can kind of do a little bit of both very very well. He can get deep on you. He can go intermediate where that can
Yep.
kind of eat, but
He
he
just
gets
he just need a he just need
undisciplined.
a he just need a legit partner, man,
But
on the other side,
he
really.
gets undisciplined sometimes because he sees coverage in the middle of the play, and then Dak think he's gonna be one place, but he don't want to make the tough catch because he don't want to get hit because we got a
That's
fucking
right.
model. We got a damn Rockway model for a receiver as our top guy. He's the prettiest receiver in football. Do every
Man,
play he
leave
do
CD
it.
alone, man. That's my boy.
He every play he whipping his hair back. I'm like, CD man, this mother.
Yeah. Can't keep the helmet on his head. He
He
want to be
looks like
seen.
he's straight GQ. He does. He look like one of them black models. That's what he looks like. So it's just like when you got that going, man. It's tough, bruh. all receivers are divas, man. But I don't know how he just became that way. Like I remember he was quiet, humble,
I
but
know,
when it
man.
became
It's
his
that
team,
star,
man,
man.
CD
It's that
just
star,
I
bro. I'm
said,
telling you,
"Oh
it's
my
that star, bro.
god,"
That
because
star on the helmet, bro.
CD don't like to get hit. He do not. I mean, especially like when it gets traffic, he'd be like, "Nah, bro, don't throw it to me in traffic, man. Get it to me here. Like get it to me. I got you, fool. Just get it to me here, bro. And I get loose. You know what I mean? I want to get loose on him the whole time. I'm like, dog, you got to make a tough catch for your quarterback, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You got to.
Got
But
to.
anyway, that's inside baseball. But yeah, I think he lives. Jalen Hurts is special in that kind of way, where he doesn't lead with his athletic ability, but when he implements his athletic ability, that kind of elevates him up above a lot of quarterbacks, and he can stay calm. He stays calm for the most part too. He doesn't really get rattled in tight situations, which is something that you don't really know how God's going to be in the pros. It's a very
You don't know.
hard it's a
You
very hard
don't know, bro.
position.
I'm
It's a
telling
very
you,
hard
you
position
don't
to even
know.
process because you got guys that are real smart. They know the board. They know how to do it. They get on the field. They can't do it though. They can't do it in field of play. They can't actually implement the stuff that they know on the chalkboard. So that
Uh,
is the difference, man. It's
if,
very
if,
very
if they
hard. It's
if
not
they
an
had a
exact science.
if they had a thing called rookie league and all the players were rookies, the
Yeah,
problem is you're going against seasoned veterans.
yeah.
It's all
And
your
we got
little
to
tricks
remember.
you did in school. It does not always translate unless
Yeah.
you're really special, bro.
And we got to remember, so now we're transitioning out of the other, like the next, so that after Aaron Rodgers is gone, now we're
Yep,
transitioning
that's
to the
it.
lower
The last
level
one.
to where Dak is the vet now. He's the QB starting upper echelon vet now. Like he is the guy. And then
Yep.
you have all these other young upstarts that people consider better, but he's like that kind of steady, franchise guy, veteran in his early 30s, where Russell Wilson used to be that. He's falling off to where he's like
Fall
kind of
off
like
hard.
he's a transitional starter now. Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
transitional starter now. They're in they're post 35. So if I'm not mistaken, Russ got to be he may be turning 37, 36 this year. And I
Yeah, he
think
up there.
Kurt is like 38, 39. So he's the
Mm-hmm.
same. He was older than RG3, and I think RG3 is like
It's
36
crazy.
now. So yeah, which RG3 should still be in the league. Cam Newton be in the league, and all
He
these
should
guys
be
had
playing,
elite.
bro.
They had elite physical traits, but they led with them. So that is the
Yeah.
reason why they instead of implementing them as a weapon per se, on certain plays where it can be more devastating, they made it part of their game and they led with it and it became a crutch. So it became a part of your playing style,
Well,
basically.
I think I believe that that's gonna be Shador. You know what I'm saying? Because I think because of how he analyzes the game, he's gonna have longevity
Yeah,
because of that. Me and you both
yeah.
know it's not about athleticism. It's not about arm
No,
talent. It's about understanding
no,
the
it's
football
about arm
game.
talent, but I think he has better arm talent than people
I mean,
give
they
him
all
credit
have
for.
arm talent. I mean, to me again, that's in my mind, that's automatic on some
Nah,
level.
it ain't. No, 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 no. It ain't
Come
automatic,
on,
bro.
bro.
Like
You
some
telling me you
people.
telling me guys who start you telling me
No,
that starting quarterbacks don't have no arm talent. None of them have arm
I
talent.
didn't say none.
Oh,
But I
okay.
mean, there are differences where even between the difference between like above average to average arm talent is a significant difference because certain throws you
But there's
can't
a
make.
baseline somewhere here, though, right? You got to get work with me
Yeah,
on this. I'm just
like
saying
like
there's got to be a fucking
like
baseline
I'm
as
gonna
a
give you an
quarterback who
example.
starts in the NFL. You
We
can't
just we
just
just
have
we
no
just talked
talent
about it.
and face quarterback,
We
right?
just we
You
just
saw what
we just
happened to
talked about it,
we
right?
saw what happened to a guy with no arm talent, right? We
Paradox.
saw that he didn't throw the ball at all. He
Remember what I told you where some quarterbacks they can beat coverage with their throws, like intermediate
yeah.
throws. When you can get a
Well, yeah,
guy
of
that can
course.
beat throws with the throwing to the hash marks, but
Yeah,
some people got such
that's what make Dak special.
right. But
Really?
some people have issues making those hash mark throws. Like Josh Allen, he couldn't hit those
Yeah.
throws for the longest, bruh. Like if it wasn't deep or deep over, something like that.
Yeah.
See, like Brock Purdy can't make those throws. So you know what they do?
No.
They cover the deep over. They do not let
Yeah.
they have made Debo look like an average receiver the last 2 years. You know why?
Yeah.
Because there's only certain routes he can run. They know he can't get intermediate deep. He cannot
Yeah.
run the route tree.
Purdy's extremely limited.
So
I will
so he
concede that.
doesn't have the arm talent to make all throws across the field. When he
Yeah, I
tries to
give
throw
you
it
that.
from one hash to the other side, you can see, oh, they are eat them dudes be like, it's like Pac-Man. They like, It's like a
Yeah.
dude.
I
They
would
force him,
concede that it's so much talent
dude.
on San Francisco they can cover it up, but that's fact. I concede. I
When
concede.
Christian McCaffrey is hurt,
I concede. Yeah, I
dude, when
concede.
Christian McCaffrey is hurt, bro, and they got to go to
Right.
the second and third
Oof.
runner, and their dudes ain't
Nah,
not special. And
yeah, it's not
because think
happening.
about it, when he was thrown to the flats, when everybody was on those deep overs, he throwing to Christian McCaffrey. Now, come
Yeah,
on now.
yeah, yeah. I know. I know.
Come on, dude.
I know.
You telling me your check
Facts.
down is Christian McCaffrey, the best receiving back in football? Shit, come on, dog. And you getting led by Trent Williams off the left tackle side. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oof. Oof.
you,
All the
dude,
time in the world.
that's 20 yards off the gate.
I know.
Your
Yeah,
linebackers can't.
yeah, you're right. Slipped my
But
mind on
if
him.
we,
You're right.
but if
Facts.
we, dude, like people were so surprised. That's what Baltimore did to him when Chris McCaffrey was hurt, bruh. And they were like, "Oh, you're not gonna get these deep overs." And Roman and all them boys were deep in Roman Queen and all them was deep on deep third on those.
Yeah.
Dude, he could not
Couldn't move the
make
ball.
those throws. Yeah,
Nope.
it was
Nope.
difficult.
Yeah, I concede. Yeah, you're right.
And then when
Facts.
he try to squeeze it in, interception because he throws with touch, he throws with anticipation. But they
Yeah.
say, yo, we know where you're going with the ball. We know your routes. We know what you
You
like
know
to
your
throw.
route. Yeah.
You only have about 3 balls that you throw very, very well.
Yeah.
If we
And it's
double,
a talent. It's a talent to absorb all of that. It's a talent.
right,
It's yeah.
right. And that's what you're trying to get these kids that got those kind of talents, but they may not be as smart as Brock Purdy. So Brock Purdy
Yeah.
is not going to do. So Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy ended up doing? Well, shit, I'm gonna have to get busy running. I'm gonna have to rock and roll
That's
running.
right.
So he
Started
became the
running.
better. I gotta get busy. So
Yeah.
you gotta make up for what you don't have.
Yeah.
Now,
Fair enough.
I like that about him. So he did not try to but he is limited as a quarterback on the field. He very limited.
You know what's so funny though? I will say this though, on some level that's a good thing. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Is that we've noticed that a lot of people, and I'm just talking about championships.
Yeah.
I'm only considering championships, honestly,
Yeah.
obviously not numbers and stats, but just from a championship perspective, it seems like you look at a lot of the quarterbacks who won. Like you said, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, of course, is obviously gets a pass in what I'm saying, but a lot of that talent doesn't translate when it gets down to the championship rounds in the NFL in the Super Bowl round. It doesn't translate for some reason. You would think it would, right? At the biggest moments, you would think that those talents would outshine, but it's like you almost have to harness it a certain way. Like Mahomes figured out how I have all this talent, but I have to figure out how to harness that talent and use it a certain way. And I
Mahomes
compare
got
him
the
to
right
Josh.
coach.
And he's a good comparison to Josh Allen and to Lamar. Is
Yeah.
that they have crazy talent, but they don't know how to harness it in the most important moments. It doesn't translate. Mahomes figured it out, well, and that's because of, obviously Andy Reid. I think obviously
Andy Reid sat him his first year, kept him on the
what's his
bench.
face the OC.
And Alex Smith, Alex Smith was pretty much
Yeah.
his platform on because Alex Smith don't got none of the talent that Patrick Mahomes had, but he had to compensate because remember his whole leg got shattered.
I know.
By the time he was in his his last couple of years starting in the league, so he was very limited. By the time Patrick Mahomes got drafted, so it was clear that he was a transitional guy, but he learned how to operate from the pocket, and then you incorporate those special gifts that you have.
I just
like into your playing style.
But that's now like what you just said is why I thought that's the separation between Shaduer when he gets into the league. Is that if he can do what he did in college and take it to the next level, that's what's going to make him special. When it starts to play, I don't think it'll be there initially because, like I said, that if you don't have the right talent and the right protection, it doesn't matter.
Well, Cleveland is a bad. Cleveland is Cleveland, man. I mean, I guess. Right. Yeah, Cleveland is Cleveland. I don't want to even talk down on this.
Me and you spent 7 years saying, "What about Dak in Dallas?" Is that he's going to be able to do what? And you can't.
Yeah, do what he did.
You can't overdo the ownership.
Yeah.
And you can't. We thought he could, and we gave him that space to say, can he overcome? But the owners are the owners, right? It's just. If they're creating the chaos, there's nothing you can do about it. You can just do the best you can do as a player.
If the best quarterback needs stability and need good ownership, need great coaching to strive at a very if very effective level every year, then that should let you know what other quarterbacks that don't have his talent have. But think about if he needs help and he needs that kind of stability, he needs all that great. He has the best coach in football. People will
Yeah.
pretty much say he has one of the best ownerships in football, where it's all about football. They don't really deal with shenanigans as much as other teams do. They have their issues, but it's not on the same level as other teams. So their focus is football first, and he has a pretty good solid relationship with his head coach and his owner and stuff like that. So everything is pretty much in place around him, where it's all about supporting him and supporting the kind of player that he could be for the franchise. So he has a very healthy situation. So it's very hard to see, because Patrick Mahomes could have went other places and he could have been a person that may have took a long while. Not to say that he wouldn't have been what he is now, but who knows what it could have been, because he had a wild playing style in college. He was not a finished prospect when he came into the league. He really wasn't. I mean, anybody that says he was is not being very honest about what he was when he came out. So, yeah.
And tell me why Tom Brady and the Raiders didn't take Shador in the third or fourth round.
You don't believe in it, but I think that the word was out. Collusion don't have to be a
I don't know
phone
if it's
call between
collusion.
the owners. Listen what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be
I
that
think
way.
collusion is a push.
Listen what I'm saying. I didn't say it was collusion. I said collusion don't have to be that way. It could be as simple as, man, we talked to the Sanders kid. I was gonna let you hear Brian Broaddus, because he's always around the draft and stuff like that. And he had like one of the best takes on it, but nobody listens to him because he's just a draft guy out of Dallas. He deals with our draft, but
Yeah.
he was just basically saying that, yeah, they didn't like the player. So when it's a personal thing, they don't like the player, plus they think about Deion. That's what I'm saying. It's everything. It was the perfect storm
I
for this to
thought
happen.
I thought
That's what I'm
Jerry
saying.
Jones loved Deion and Shador. I thought Tom Brady and the Raiders, the coach is very close to Deion. I thought a whole lot of things.
I'm gonna tell you something, man.
To grab a
Um,
kid, set him down for a year or two, you don't got to pay him anything. You pick him in the
I'm
fourth round,
I'm gonna
but
tell
you
you. I'm
still
gonna
don't
tell
want
you.
him because
I'm gonna tell you this. Once he paid Dak, this became Dak's team. He is all in, because Jerry
right.
knows. Jerry knows that that's the last quarterback he's going to sign.
Yeah, but Dak at this point is prone to injuries. He's coming to this is going to be his
I
last time.
know.
Still could
I
have grabbed.
know. I
Remember
I
something. I'm not
I
saying I'm
think.
not.
Hold on.
It's
I
business,
think. I
DC.
think,
You can grab
dude.
Shador and trade him. You don't have
They
to keep him. I'm just saying,
they
like,
they
keep
said
the
they
options
said
here.
they did say that. I think we was like maybe like 2 or 3 picks away. They did
Hmm.
say that he was going to get picked up
Oh,
by. So it was
I got
either
you.
by us, or it was going
I
to be
got
somebody
you.
else that was going to basically
I
take a
got
flyer
you.
on Shador. So
I got you. That's why Cleveland went. That's why they went down and got him. Actually, I got you.
yeah, and
I got
I think
you.
the owner was basically like telling, because clearly his management team, the owner Jim Haslam's management team, clearly did not think that that was a good idea to pick up Sanders as a
Yeah.
quarterback, because they heard about how bad his interview was and how he was not team first, I guess, to a degree. And they didn't want to deal with the show of Deion being there, because they're on a
But
rebuild. They already
I
got like
don't
a lot of
believe.
drama
I
going
don't
on too.
believe. Like you know what I was surprised though. I'm not, let me not say I was surprised. The NFL did exactly what the NFL does. Like you said, the more time I spend thinking about it, is that Deion created a circus, which is fine to get your son drafted. But I honestly did think that a New Orleans team, a Dallas team, a Seattle team, or a Las Vegas team would embrace it just to inject the energy into the organization. So I was looking at it from that perspective of, you know, with him bringing all that social media juice, it's the new kids taking over the world type stuff. That I figured that even because they all have social media now, right? All the teams have social media. They're all showing clips all over TikTok, etc. I figured that he already has a pre-built-in brand, legendary. He has his dad. Like you could, I figured that the ownership would want to exploit it. That's why I was, it's like you said, the delicate balance of how much is a team willing to take to make money over other things. And I thought that because Deion created such a great aura around Shador, that if he got picked up by some teams that's been struggling lately, and Dallas could just absorb it. You know that. I mean, like in my mind, Jerry Jones. I don't care if he's a backup. I don't care if he has social media. I don't care if it's Deion. It's the Cowboys, right? That's just more money for us. It don't even matter, right? So we can put that to the side. But I figure Vegas is still, building a franchise. He brings in that juice. You can have Deion there. You could forget the play on the field just to have just to generate eyes onto your team. I figured it was enough because it's not the Ball brothers where you have a nobody father who's trying to juice. It's Deion Sanders. So I figured that regardless of his past, that was it's enough to, you know what I'm saying, right? It's I can understand Denver not doing it because of what's his face, the coach, right? That makes sense to me, right? So certain things make sense to me, but I figured a Vegas team, could absorb it and use it to sell tickets, to sell jerseys, to bring in more social media attention, etc. And just and be a part of and just deal with it. But clearly not. Clearly that's not the case. So I have to respect the reality of it and not pretend. I thought Dallas would have been perfect, by the way. Once he dropped out of the second and third, I just figured like Jerry Jones loved the attention, bro. So I just figured him, Shaduer, Dak, Deion, and just hit the whole thing could have all been under the Cowboys umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Let Junior come down and do some filming for Dallas, and that Dallas could have exploited it. He's not going to start, but he can be behind Dak for a couple of years. We may trade you in a couple of years, or if Dak gets hurt, you get a chance to play. You understand what I'm saying? It just seemed like it's just surprising to me that the relationship that Deion fronted that was there, I felt like did not play out the way it should have. Remember, after he dropped, right? Because we understood that the first couple, we understood first and second round, there were some teams who actually need quarterbacks who were looking. But once he dropped and we got to third, then we got to fourth, I'm like, man, you still don't want the guy? So I just thought that part was interesting because he's gonna bring the money, right? Like he's gonna bring the show. So why not embrace the show? But the NFL is just still the same way it's always been. It doesn't necessarily like it unless it creates it. You know what I'm saying? It almost if we do it, it's fine, but you can't bring it to us. We don't feel like you're in that position to be able to do that at your level. So I understand it. Don't get it wrong. I do understand. I was just a little surprised in the era of social media. And did the Raiders even pick up a quarterback? I'm trying to find it now. Did they even grab a quarterback?
Yeah, they grabbed a quarterback. I think.
Who did they get? Who did the Raiders grab? I'm trying to find it. I don't even see it.
I was trying to find that interview that I wanted you to play just on the Deion, the one where Brian Broaddus was talking.
They grabbed 11 players out of the draft.
Yeah, I want to say they picked up the what's the guy's name for the Raiders?
They got a
running back.
Running back. Yep, they got a running back, of course.
We got Ashton Genty. We wanted.
Yeah, they got Genty. Yeah, that'd have been crazy, bro.
Boy, I would have been over the moon, boy. That happened. Woof.
The Cowboys are back.
Man.
Because the Redskins is for real and Philly is for real.
Yeah. And New York coming, so it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be real tough. Yeah.
I don't know if they got a quarterback. Did they?
No, I'm looking. Let me look at it. I have it up in just a moment. I was trying to look for the that interview, but let me see if I can find it real quick. These guys, because
let me see. They got a running back.
It wasn't in the first round.
Tackle, offense, defense, running, wide receiver, cornerback. They did. They got Cam Miller around 7. Oh, they just picked up yeah. Everybody was grabbing guys in the round 7 though.
Oh, so it was in the 7th round. I thought they took one earlier. That's crazy.
Nah, they picked Cam Miller. No, my bad. They picked him 6th round. My bad. He was a
Still,
215. He was a 215 pick.
that's crazy.
Yeah, Cam Miller.
That's crazy. I thought they picked somebody earlier, but nah, that's the other guys. I
First,
think,
second,
yeah, because there was
ain't gonna lie,
the ones that
Deion.
went, the people that went before Shadur is Cam Ward, of course, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shute, and then the guy that got picked at Cleveland, uh, the Dillon kid. So that's four, and then it was Shadur. So yeah, that's right. That's crazy. Wasn't that many quarterbacks? Wasn't that, it was a very weak. Like I said, it was a lot of defensive guys that got picked up this year.
That was crazy, right?
A lot of
First three,
defense,
four
a
rounds,
lot of
crazy. A
a
lot of
lot of
defense.
pass rush. You know, a lot of edge, a lot of edge
A lot of
guys.
edge, bro.
Yeah, even guys that wasn't even considered to be that good. If you can rush a little bit, oh, you get picked up, bro.
Coming and
Like
get
they
you.
gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really was trying to get people that can rush the passer this year, for sure, for sure, man. Hold on, let me see if I could get this video.
Yeah, most of these quarterbacks will all be backups and hopefully have a long career quietly. Like you said, half these guys will be cut. They won't get a second contract, statistically speaking. I think about 50% or 40 or whatever. These draft picks, they fade quick in our memories, boy. Yeah, they need a quarterback. Who's the quarterback on who's the quarterback for Vegas right now? They got rid of my boy and sent him to New Orleans a couple years ago, whatever, last year. Who did they trot out there? I can't think of the guy's name. Oh, they got Gino. When did they get Gino? Last year? Oh, they just got Gino this year. That's right. They had
Yeah,
Minshew.
he just got there. He just
Yeah,
got there this year.
remember watching Minshew play? Remember that? And wasn't guard Minshew on the Jets? Where was he at? He was somewhere else, wasn't he? Guard Minshew.
Yeah, Guy Minshew was with the Jets last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
No, he was with the Raiders. I think it was the Jets 2 years ago, right?
He's with the Raiders? Okay. Yeah, my
Or was
bad.
he
My
with?
bad.
Or was he in? He was in Jacksonville, I think.
We're kind of talking.
I got you. I got you.
Let's see. Did Gardner Minshew go in the first round?
No, Guy Minshew was a late round pick. Nah, he
Okay.
wasn't in the first round at all.
Oh, right. He was sixth round. Jacksonville. Right. Yeah, then he went to Philly for a couple years in the Colts, and then he played in Vegas last year. And you talking about average, bro? My goodness. I think did they bench him last year through the season?
Bench who?
Guard Minshew last year.
I don't remember him. I know he played a little bit last year, but I don't think he was even the starter for the team initially.
He was starting in week 2, but he played about eight or 9 games. I think that was
Who
it.
was who
Got
was
hurt.
the quarterback? Who was the quarterback
I
supposed to
think some
be?
kid named O'Donnell or something.
And he didn't really. Yeah, so they was a mess, man. The
They were.
Raiders
That's
was
what
a
I thought.
mess. That I
They're
that's what I'm saying.
trying to figure it
There's
out.
there's no excuse on reason why they didn't take Shador. I'm shocked because I mean, does Tom Brady have that kind of influence, or maybe Tom
Yeah,
Brady didn't like him as a prospect? That could happen too.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
think that
yeah,
he
yeah.
would have. I think he
From
would
what the
have some
reports
kind of
say,
say
Tom
if
Brady
he
has a lot of he has a lot of say. He has a lot of say. I
right
mean, he's a part piece of the team owner, but they said they
minority
put him
owner.
in charge
Yeah,
of some things. Yeah,
right. But if he
yeah.
says, "Hey, I think we should pick Shador here," I think they will listen to him.
That's what I mean. I just wonder how were they feeding into Deion's ego. You know what I mean? Helping out, helping the kid. Like, he worked with Tom Brady a lot too, but helping the kid out,
Right.
helping Deion push the idea, helping Deion with the whole perception. But in reality, like you said, when it's time, you know how you get off, someone tells you that you're great, and you apply for a job or a promotion or whatever, you like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You get kind of lost in how they keep saying how great you are, and oh, you're doing so great. You're doing these reports you get done so well, and you reach out such and such. You take trips. You don't mind doing this. You don't mind staying late, whatever. And then when you actually apply to make it real, right? All of a sudden you don't get hired. It almost is it's kind of funny like that, you know. And so you look at if you don't really try to get a broad perspective, and I'm thinking more narrow. I'm like, well, damn, I thought y'all was cool. So I mean, you got them for cheap in the fourth or third round, right? You don't owe them nothing, especially in the fourth round. You don't owe them nothing. Why not just grab them on just GP? But it's like, yep, clearly that's not reality, right? It's just that they're trying to get juice off of Deion, so they get attention, right? So they're using his aura. He's leveraging them to get Shador on the same screen, the same video as say Tom or whoever. That creates a perception, right? But when it was actually time to do something real and put it on paper, you know how they even talk about that with businesses all the time. Where when the contract comes, all of a sudden everybody gets funny. But before the contract came, I used the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, well, shit, yeah, cool. You don't have to play. You don't have to pick me in the first, second, or third. We get to the fourth round, and you still don't want me. And you definitely the quarterback. What was it? Tennessee, New Orleans, Seattle, and of course the Giants and Vegas. Those are at least, I think it's about 8 though total that needed quarterbacks. Cam takes one of those slots, of course. Just to see how it plays pretty says a lot about creating energy around a player, pushing, pushing, pushing to get them in. But like you just said, you get to sort of see more of the reality once things get real. And we got a good whiff of that, like you said. Regardless of some interview, there's no way you have a 15-minute interview with a particular coach or whoever, and that just destroys your draft. I don't think that's possible, to be honest with you. That's too easy. You don't think? I think that's too easy.
Yeah, but I mean
That's
that's
too
what
easy. You've been following
everybody
this
is going
man
to
since
lean
high
on.
school, bro. What's his
Yeah,
face?
that's
The
what
owner?
everybody's going
No,
to
no,
lean
no,
on
no.
that.
Because even that, but that's not that's a cover from a media perspective. But when you listen to individual coaches talk, I heard Mike talk in Pittsburgh. I heard what's his face talk in in Denver. The coach in Denver, old head. They said we was watching him in in high school. Watching him in high school, been talking to them. Some of these guys have been talking and been around Shador for 8 years, bro. 7, 8 years. And so, to me, in my mind, there's no way a 15-minute interview just turns everybody off. Even if it was a bad, people have bad interviews all the time. He's not the first player to have a bad interview. Because but what happens is this: if Shador goes in the first or second round, all the propaganda against him doesn't even exist. It only exists if you fail. Once you fail, it's like, oh, you should have went to the combine. Oh, you should have went to the whatever the bowl game is for college players. Should have went to that. You should have did this. You know what I'm saying? So they're kind of talking in reverse because by you losing, it opens the door up for the criticism part. That happens all the time, of course, in sports. They're punishing JJ Redick now. If JJ Redick played, if JJ Redick plays, doesn't play. I'm sorry, if he plays LeBron and Luka for the whole second half and they win, he's a genius. You know how that goes, right? you know. But if you lose, then look how they did Phil Jackson when he went to New York and tried to implement the triangle there, and he looked crazy. And how they to me, you know what I'm saying, hit his reputation pretty hard. Michael Jordan, the greatest player in NBA history, goes to the Wizards, and his legacy is tarnished, right? And they attached him. What's our boy then who went in the first round that he picked number one? What's the cat name? There was no one pick for back then for is it Brown? I forget his first name. He on social media all the time now. But it was like that's the worst pick in history. Jordan doesn't know how to pick players. You know, he said he's so great, but they took an opportunity when you look at it as a loss to just load up. You know, all that shit that you had in the pocket just to load up on a person, because you know you're not gonna be perfect, of course, and they're looking for you not to be perfect to then try to make themselves, you know what I'm saying, come off as you know, as geniuses, or I told you so, or I predicted this to happen. But it's funny how quiet they are if it hits though, you know. So you have to take a lot of the criticism with a grain of salt, of course, because everybody becomes geniuses if what you're doing, even though I think that they win because he's in the league, but because it didn't go the way they wanted it to go, it gives all the so-called, you know, critics. It makes their words more valid, even though if he goes top 10 or top 20, it nullifies all of it, right? So that's also that's the other balance with it, is that people are just jumping out the window and stuff. I'm like, well, you're only saying that because it just didn't work. But if it would have worked, you know, he did get drafted, but if it would have worked, like I said, in the first, you know, 1 or 2 rounds, all y'all that had that shit loaded up, you can't even say it. You have to shut up and just take it. So of course, if you have the opportunity to hit them hard, you're going to take full advantage because you feel like you won. You know what I'm saying? The positioning there. So it's very, very, very funny though. Very funny. It's been an entertaining week or two with Shaduer, and you know, even Charlotte get a shot on Tampa Bay, so that's great. You know what I'm saying? My boy Jimmy Horn Jr.
Yeah,
gets his shot. I'm happy about that.
All the receivers started to kind of fall off the board once Shaduer got drafted, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So they kind of did their thing. I think, like I said, all his receivers, all of them, if you played at Colorado any amount of time, you caught a ball from him, you know, you got over 100-something yards with him, you got drafted. That's pretty good for a team that's that wasn't considered to be that good. You know,
think about that. I know. I ain't arguing. I mean, I'm all in. I'm with you. I watched all the games. I know that
it ain't like they had these guys.
Deion and his team did things that they shouldn't have been able to do with Shaduer. They shouldn't have been able to do what they did. So that's what throws some people off. That forget all the vibes and the energies and the propaganda and the push that he was doing. We watched the games. They're doing things that they winning games they shouldn't be winning. They're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Shaduer doing that Tom Brady shit, bro, into some of these games. I'm like, man, this kid got something. He got something. Yep. And so it's just like you said, it is interesting. And that was the thing I had an issue with what's going on social media, which is you had people like Chris Carter and some other folks taking shots at Shaduer because, you know, there's like a clip going around of him and Cam Ward talking, and he was asking Cam, this is a very short clip, he was asking Cam about doing a rap song together, and Cam said, I focus on football. But now, if you follow them, you do know the truth of that conversation, right? Is that they were joking around about it. Cam was being funny about it. But you got to watch. I watched the whole thing. I follow them, so I watch all of it. So I laugh that they grabbed that clip and don't realize that wasn't Cam trying to be a certain. They're friends. They joke around like that all the time. He was trying to be that way on purpose to say, "I don't know football. I don't know football." But he was. It was playful. They was joking. You got to watch all their videos. It'll have context.
Yeah,
but I said, y'all took that stupid ass clip where Shaduer was fucking with Cam about doing a rap. It's just so funny to me how the media is just it's just bad. It's gross, bro. It's gross. You know what I'm saying? It is so funny to me. It's like y'all are grown ass people. I'm not even talking about just casual people. This is like media people. You guys really aren't going to watch all the videos and watch the video itself to know that him and Cam was messing around. They was messing around with each other all day that day, actually, and joking
Mhm.
about stuff like that. And that's why Shiloh, that's why I, fuck with Shiloh because he just be saying crazy stuff. And I'm like, it's not like they're hiding anything, but I know I can take what you're saying in small little clips and just run propaganda if you make a mistake.
Facts.
But it's media. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Did you find the video? Or did you want to transition over to some other stuff with, do you want to touch on Trump's 100 days, the Gaza-Ukraine war, or anything else that you want to hit on?
I'm
We only an
still
hour
trying to
in.
find the actual clip, man. So just give me like a minute or so. I'm just trying to see if I can find it because I think it's kind of encapsulates everything that we have said. But he did it from a non-bias, and he's not very popular. A lot of people don't know who he is outside of Cowboy fans, but he's a
And I'm
very
biased. I'm trying to check my biases as much as
yeah,
I
he's
can.
he's
I
he's
want them to do
very
great.
he's in the know, so he knows all these guys. He
But
was,
man, the league is the
in these
league is
draft rooms.
nasty though, bro. We know the
Yeah,
league
it
is
is. It
nasty, bro.
is. And I think he
Like
gave like some of
look
the
at
most money.
Chicago.
Oh,
Chicago has not spent any
not the
money to
wrong.
give any protection to our boy to Caleb, right? And to the other guy, to other rookie guy. You're not providing any. It's like, come on, man. You think drafting a new guy is going to change the team when you're not changing the actual team? It's insane. Yeah, if you don't find the video, man, I'm gonna jump on this. Switch over to a little bit more of the real politics and not the sports politics. I wonder what I do while you're looking for that. I do wonder what the how the Democrats are going to deal with decry anti-white system. I do I do think it's funny that the Democratic Party is going to have to figure out what to do with Kamala. It's going to be very interesting because they're not really talking about it. But I'm like, it's not like she ain't popular. So you can take it how you want to take that. But like I keep telling you, DC, the same people that's saying one thing, look at how they're treating Kamala. That's all I gotta say to you, bro. I think she's a great example of um, how the left deals with certain situations, man. And it's not like they have an option. I haven't found one yet. I know Chris Cuomo's brother's trying to sneak his way back into politics, trying to run for mayor. And I think if he wins that job, it's going to put him back into where he wants to be to try to push for president, I think, in a few years. Even probably this election. Who knows, knowing him. Can't help but play this video since you're taking so long. Oh, I gotta find the guy's name. First one. It's not making for a good stream, DC. You're over there quiet looking for a video. Game show.
Yeah, I can't find it, man. Don't worry about it, man. Let's go.
What
Let's
video?
move on.
What video was it? From Dallas?
Yeah, yeah, it's a conversation that they were having about the draft, but it's just too long. The video is just too long. I can't
Oh,
shift
you have
through
the
it.
video.
I think this is the right one that I'm looking at, but it's just I don't have a timestamp that,
How
so
long
I'm
is it?
looking through it. No, it's not
An
that
hour?
long. It's not that long. It's maybe like it's a long video, but they're talking about more so the Cowboy picks. They're not talking about anything else outside of that. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Mm-hmm. And you
yeah.
got Jerry Jones out here pushing propaganda. Talking about, so we're gonna have this. You're not gonna do anything, bro. Stop playing.
Yeah,
Stop,
so now we can
stop.
move on, man. It's not important. Yeah, we can move on. That's all good. Yeah, let's move
Yeah,
on, bro.
I had some video. You know how you watch a lot of videos and then you think to yourself like, I don't even. I have my own reaction. I don't even. It ain't even no point of me playing it.
Yeah, it's just
You know
cause
type of life you go around it.
it was just a balanced take, more so than just anything else. He just in so many words,
So you
just
can tell
basically
that a lot of
saying
people are
that
pushing. Hmm.
yeah, he wasn't trying to push anything about the interview process. He just said that basically from what he heard and what he found out is that some teams just took him completely off the board. They heard how bad his interviews were. That just gave them a bad taste in their mouth, and that it wasn't worth taking a chance on a player, and that he's too good to kind of, I guess, put into that kind of like automatic backup space to where he's going to be viewed as a backup, because I don't think people will see him that way, because he has that kind of potential to possibly start, whether it's hype or not, because there's about two or three quarterbacks that get overhyped in drafts all the time. That's what
Every
I'm
year.
saying. So every year that happens. I mean, even people that get pushed in the first round. I mean, we got two of them that got picked up.
What happened?
Uh
What
Jackson
happened? What
Dart,
happened?
and Tyler Shoot. People don't even know who Tyler Shoot was. So
Never heard them before.
yeah, so
Never heard them
that should
before.
let you know
Do you,
how
do you
how people
know
can fly up the draft sometimes.
the guy who played for Texas A&M, the brother, who was a monster in college, and he won the Heisman Trophy? What happened to him? Is another good example of what I mean. I think what's his face came right behind him the next year.
Talking about
Yep. The
Johnny
alcoholic.
Manziel,
Yeah, who was the guy before him that played on Texas? The brother,
A&M.
dark skin, yeah, dark
Really?
brown skin guy.
I don't
Yo, he
remember
was a
him,
beast,
man.
bro. He won the championship game. He ran the ball at the end of the game, won the championship game, and got drafted, won the Heisman. You know, of course, you know what I'm
He
talking
didn't
about.
play for Texas A&M. He played for, you
Who did he
talking
play
about
for? He played for something.
Deshaun
He played in
Deshaun
Texas.
Watson? That's the only one
No,
I could think of.
no.
Who you
Before all
talking
that, but
about?
wait, this is years back.
Vince Young. Vince
Boom,
Young. Vince
boom.
Young. Vince
I
Young.
knew it. You
Vince
an NFL
Young.
savant. You're a football
Vince
savant. This is gonna come
Young.
to you. Son.
Yeah, when
I
you
knew
said
it was
ran
gonna
it
come.
in, I'm like, well, ran it in.
Yeah,
But
now
then
see,
when you
remember
said
that? You remember
university,
that
when you said
game?
Texas though, but yeah. When you said Texas, it was a high national. Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, no doubt.
That game was
Yeah. Vince
unbelievable.
Young.
He's a beast in
Well,
college,
Vince
bro.
Young was the number one pick too, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And Vince
And
Young was
what's that
real
look
raw.
like?
Yeah, he was real raw. It was a struggle. Yeah.
What's
He
that
had some
look
good
like,
years.
bro?
But see, the thing is too, he had a coach that was too strict. He had a coach that didn't really want him. So it was
Yep,
against management. So it was like
yep,
the owner wanted him, the coach didn't. So that, you
right.
see what I'm saying? So it's
Yes,
these
that's
it's
what we're
this
talking
thing
about.
where
That's the
you
whole
get this
point. Is that
kind of this
right?
confluence of ideologies in the room, and you be like, well, you may want this guy because you saw the game, and that's not really what it is. He doesn't fit our system. He doesn't throw on time. He's not very good in the processing part of it.
But
So
the
there are
owner
other
wanted
things
him,
that they're
or the
looking at.
GM
Yeah,
wanted him, but the
the
GM and the
owner
coach don't
wants
get
him, the
along.
GM. It's the same thing with
Right.
Washington and you could just see the war room. They jumping for joy from a fourth round pick with Kirk Cousins, but it was clear that they said he wanted to pick him in the first round. He wanted to drop out of the first. Oh man, that's sad, man. When you
And
think of it,
Kirk
that is
Cousins and RG3
terrible.
are not even close.
That's terrible, man.
on the Saints. But you know what's so funny? But see, but like you
But
said,
Kirk Cousins was a good quarterback, though. He
he's
was
fine.
still a starter.
He's fine.
He played at Michigan State. He was a high quality. He should have got
Yeah,
drafted
he's
a lot
fine.
higher, to be honest with you. But yeah, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback for a franchise. I mean, people didn't really know that was going to be the case, of course, but he turned out to still be good, even though he's been on multiple teams now. But Kirk Cousins is a very good pro
But no, you
quarterback.
keep saying it's like you said. That's how you know. Like what you just said is how I'm gonna give you another example, a better example in a minute. But that's how you know that when you're hearing casual people run their mouths, or even experts run their mouths about players in football, you can
Yeah,
tell the difference between propaganda, you're being either paid by somebody, or this is how you run your business to get clicks or views, versus just being
yeah,
straight up. You're just telling people the full, honest truth, but you're not. You're just
yeah.
pushing a narrative, driving a narrative. You're bandwagoning to just drive your numbers, to drive your clicks, to drive your views. It's disgusting on some level. Depending on, I'm talking about very specific people that I'm talking about who claim to really know football, who played the game, but your takes sound suspicious because you
Right.
know how crazy football NFL is. And I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
the perfect example, DC. I would argue that Lamar Jackson will be out the league by now, or destroyed on some level and tarnished, if Harbaugh didn't give it up.
Say that
If he
again now.
if Harbaugh did not give up his philosophy, which
Yeah.
no coach ever does, ever,
Right.
and tried to force Lamar to be a certain way, Lamar's career is destroyed.
That's true.
It's going to be
That's a
chaos.
fact.
He's going to be a prop. He's going to
It
have.
would have been
They was
bad.
going to.
Yeah.
The machine was going to do what they're going to do, and
Yeah.
RG3 him. He'll be sitting
It was
somewhere
going
as
to
a
be
backup, or
RG3.
injured, or something
But the
crazy.
but the best thing they ever did for
But
him is make.
Harbaugh
You
sucked it
remember?
up, checked his
And
ego, and
he
said,
made
we're going to
RG3.
reshape our offense. Come on,
And
man.
he made RG3
And he
his
brought
his,
RG3
his
in.
backup too. Yeah. That
That's what I'm
helped out
saying.
a lot, man. He
Oh,
improved
tremendously.
tremendously, man. And that's how I knew that RG3 wasn't what RG3 ain't what they said he was. So that
It
was
was
that was a
nasty
mistake
work. Oh,
all the way around.
they got me in. I was just as dumb,
Yeah,
just
that
as
was that was a that
I
was
was
a
just as
mistake
proper
all the way
guys too,
around.
and I was like, oh my God, this guy here.
Yeah. Instead of having a quarterback that was hungry to be more, they suppressed him. That's bad. That's how do you do that to the number? You sabotage your number 2 overall pick in the draft, bruh. That's it's just
You
so
want what you want.
it's so much wrong with that with what they did to him. It's just yeah,
But you had but like you said, you had a
it's
naive
bad.
owner. You had a
It's
naive
bad.
owner, clearly,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
had
Naive
a big
owner,
ego,
big ego.
and
Yeah,
and then you bring in the Shanahans who got their own philosophy, and they
their
know you
own
don't clearly
philosophy.
you know you don't know no better, and they
Yeah,
played you
man.
out because you would have said you're not gonna get you're not picking Kirk Cousins. We're not even
Yeah,
he had
yeah,
no control, man.
yeah.
That boy,
Yeah.
man, that
And they
situation
high
was
five and
insane, bro.
when they got. I mean, they celebrated when they got. They were
With
over the moon because they
scream.
got him in the 4th round. He wasn't supposed to be there, and they probably told him you can't get him in the first 2 or 3 rounds. But he probably told him. Dan probably told him that too. You won't because they've
Yeah.
been wanting Kirk Cousins. He was the one that He was the one. People don't understand this. It's not from here. They focused on Kirk Cousins. Like that is the guy he wanted since the
Remember.
Senior Bowl. He wanted Kirk Cousins in the system. He looked at him as being like a Jay Cutler starter kit, not with the arm, but he could basically create his own offense with him, have a running game, play action, all of that because he did play action in Michigan State. So yeah, it was a nasty thing, man. Because like I remember when he put
RG3
remember when he put
is
RG3 back in the game after he got hurt that
I
year,
remember.
and he just put him
I
right back in the
remember.
game, and his knee was all jacked up, and then he got.
I
I
remember.
mean, it's just oh my goodness, bro. Like they
I still think
they
it was on
almost
purpose.
broke his body, bro. That's what I'm saying. They almost broke. You want to go in the game? Fine, no, go ahead.
Yeah, because players always want to play.
Nobody does that.
It's your
Nobody.
job to sit him
Nobody
down.
does exactly. Nobody does. You sitting down. You're gonna wait till next year. You're not getting in the game,
Right, we
man.
got to protect you.
Sorry,
You're our
bro.
quarterback. No, we're gonna put you
Yeah,
out there so you can get hurt
you
again.
are quarterback.
We want you out of here.
Exactly.
It was
So Kirk
obvious. It
Cousins
was
there, no
nasty.
touchdowns, and it was. They ran two. They literally ran 2 offenses. It was
Yeah,
nasty
I
work.
remember
It
that
was
too.
nasty. It was nasty work, bro. Literally 2 offenses, bro.
And like you said, as we gotten to know
Crazy.
RG3 over the years, I'm like, this boy is
Yeah, knows
extremely
the game.
intelligent,
Yeah,
extremely articulate, extremely
yeah,
insightful. He's not
yeah,
just a football guy in a sense, right?
Yeah,
He's running at a higher level, and you
yeah,
had him as quarterback with them kind of wheels on him,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
didn't, and you were too arrogant and pompous and stupid to
Mm.
get out of yourself to see what you had. You had this gem basically and destroyed it
He
for
hasn't talked
for an
bad.
average for a average quarterback in Kirk
Yeah,
Cousins, an average quarterback, a journeyman quarterback.
he did not talk bad. He did
In
not
a
talk
in
bad
a
about the
changing
organization
system,
either.
in a changing system. Well, he loved the owner. Obviously, he loved Dan,
But I'm saying the way that the coaching though is what
but
really
Dan clearly
did
didn't
it.
understand the dynamics of GMs and coaches and who you brought
Yeah,
in, and
right.
he didn't get that. You brought this old school. You got man, come on, bro. Man.
Yeah,
All that's on Dan Snyder, in my opinion. It's all on him, really, in my opinion.
yeah. If you're gonna let Dan,
Playing
if
too
you're
many
gonna
games
let,
with the media. You're not Jerry Jones, bro. You're doing too much.
yeah, you ain't Jerry,
Then you
dog. Yeah,
got then they're interviewing
you
his
ain't that
dad.
Jerry.
They're burying his dad. Saying what does his dad
Yeah.
know? And the DC media was horrible. The DC media was so
Oof.
nasty. The DC
My
media when it comes to the
God.
Redskins is nasty, bro. It is bad.
Yeah, it was bad, bro. It was like, damn, the way they,
I
yeah,
hate
there's
local
some
radio
stories
in
on
this
that
area,
joint.
bro.
Ooh, Rigo and all them.
Oh, it was
Rigo.
bad, bro.
Oh man, Sheehan in the mornings. Oh man, jeez, they
Yeah.
was
And
rough.
unfortunately, RG3 was probably 3 or 4 years too early because we
Yeah,
were
he
still
was.
transitioning to
He was
athletic
early.
quarterbacks.
Yeah,
And he just missed, and you still had
I
those
think he was
old coaches from the
2012,
1980s and 90s still coaching, so it hasn't yet,
2011,
shifted.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Because Andrew Luck was number no, he was before then. So Andrew Luck was first, and he was the second pick
Yeah,
in the whole draft. So
yeah.
yeah, it was Andrew Luck. So Andrew Luck has been here and gone. He's gone now too. So it was a very
No,
weird way
football
of
made
how
him quit.
yeah, he didn't like the way that they just, yeah, it was too much pressure on him to be
Too
following
much
up
pressure.
from Peyton Manning, yeah. And he was in Indianapolis, so he didn't even get the brunt of it. Like, and they tried their best to kind of you know,
Everything. Gave him everything, bro.
protect him, yeah, not be so hard on him, critical, because he used to falter late in games. Remember, he used to have that whole
He
kind
would
of
give that
throwing
ball up,
interceptions
and
and
he would
all
give it
that.
up.
Yeah,
Ooh, he would give
too
it
much
up.
pressure. Yeah, it was tough, man. Living up to
Trying to
that
follow
Peyton Manning
Peyton.
thing. Yeah, yeah. He held the ball a lot. He was very athletic though, but though just in trans
Strong, very
very
athletic.
strong. Yeah, throw the ball, can make all throws,
But
but
like I tell you, DC, I just don't
late on reads
think
and stuff.
he understands. He just wasn't grasping defenses. Though I think, like I keep telling you, I think that's what me and you have noticed pretty consistently. That's what always made Dak Prescott very dangerous. Of course, Mahomes and some other guys go. Mahomes took him some years to actually start to be able to read defenses.
Yeah,
That's really, to me, it's always the separation and longevity
that's
and
the
being a
separation.
starter and staying on a franchise. Like you said, y'all can, the media can talk as crazy as they want. The novice people who want to comment on stuff, they talk, just pay attention now. And the thing is that guys who really understand the game, most likely they're not going anywhere until the whole organization is trying to transition out of something, or what I'm saying. There's other nefarious things going on outside of just the football part. But outside of that, if you're on point, it's the reason why they still keep you around,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
But there's a lot of things happen. I mean, Lamar's a great talent, and I would argue that the ownership. I forget the guy's name who run the Ravens, but I'm just like, man, y'all playing with this man money. This don't even make any sense. This man made y'all so much money. To me, he's the biggest talent in the league. You know what I'm saying? The kind of money and attention that he generates and his impact on the field, and you don't even want to pay the man, bro. Then they started running propaganda against his mom. What y'all don't know y'all
Right.
don't know no better. And what are you really doing? That's like they same blueprint. But
Yeah,
RG3's dad, and the list goes on. I'm like, why?
yeah. It was bad. It was nasty work, man. It was. I was like, oof. Yeah, they ran the propaganda against his father, and his father just asked, "Hey, man, I think my son is ready to open up the playbook," and just
And
he
learn.
saw it. He knew what it was. Yeah, he knew what it was. He knew what it was going to be. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, the NFL draft, it is what it is. These are just opinions. Now it's all over with. Everybody starts over at square one now. But it's not all equal, because people, they get drafted earlier, gets more chances. They get more. They're more protected as far as the way the the way that the actual team looks at them. But I think that if Deion even gets cut, not Deion, if Shadur gets cut early and they let him go, which is a possibility, it's a great if
It
they
would be
don't
a
get if
blessing
they don't
for
get
him,
a
in my opinion.
trade somebody to trade, he'll be in the league, so he'll be able to get his shot somewhere. He's not going to fall off the map. So everybody can relax. He's in the league. He's in the pipeline now. People are going to, they're going to see what he can do. They're going to get tape of him and practices and stuff like that. Best believe there's some other teams out there that are watching very, very closely
Yeah,
what you do. They don't care what the other kid is doing. You can keep Dylan. They're going to watch everything, every throw. If you can get a practice rep, something like that, if
right.
they
But I
see
want to I want
any
to see how he responds to the defense, because that's one thing
kind
that
of
Dak did by
separation
playing in the preseason
with
that
him,
first year. Remember
they're
that?
gonna offer up some draft picks. It don't take long in practice to see the read from the
Sure
shaft
don't.
and
It happens instantly.
in
It
professional
happens
ways. You
instantly.
will see it early. Oh, yeah. Oh, veterans recognize it. They like, yeah. I don't care when this dude was drafted. He's it. That's the guy, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very quick, bro. Like, it didn't take Seattle very long to figure out that because they brought somebody in to be their starter. It didn't take them very long to see Russell Wilson was the best thrower
Bro, that was
that was
instant,
there,
bro.
and they created
Yeah,
the
it was
team
instant.
and kind of built it around him. Yeah, so
Yep.
it didn't take long, and he was a third round pick. So that just lets you know that this is it's fit, it's recognizing the talent that you have around you, getting out your own way. There's a lot of different things that go with
Yeah, a lot of coaches have
that
big
goes with
egos. A lot of
football. But
GMs have
yeah, it's very, very
big egos. A
interesting,
lot of
man.
owners have big egos. The egos are very
Tremendous
big.
egos, bro.
Yeah, tremendous.
Tremendous
Next
egos.
level egos.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
But
much
if
so.
you catch
But
the
he
right
he
team,
has a shot. So
it's time. A
yeah.
lot of it's timing, I think, too. It's a lot of it's timing.
It's timing.
And
It's
I never
timing
want to.
and it's
And
fit too.
I wouldn't pile on to anybody. I don't care
Timing
if
and
you know
fit.
who your parents are or don't know. I don't care if you have attention or not. It's really going to be timing and team. That team has to be ready
Yeah.
to do something and to
Yeah.
have something a certain way.
Yeah.
All of it has to play. Everything else is propaganda. Everything else to me is really noise. A lot of these teams are not serious. Chicago's not serious, bro. They're not serious. And so they can run through all the quarterbacks they want to. You can gas it. You can attack the quarterbacks. The team itself, in my opinion, the organization itself for 30 years, it's just not a serious place. So I don't think we may mess around with some, me, you will mess around with some quarterbacks, but we know obviously it's more than just us messing around with quarterbacks. Because it doesn't matter how great your talent is, bro. If the receivers ain't catching the ball because they're not happy with their contracts, they're not. You see what I'm saying? We can just keep on going on the list, right? It's all other chaotic things happening. So you can't get the protection that
Yeah.
you need, the time that you need, because the coaching is all chaos. The OC and DC are off not on the right page because of the coaches acting. The coaches doing his job. So it's just so many things happening that you have to find the right. Because you can't me and you know this, DC. Quarterbacks do not solve your problem as an organization. You have to solve your own
Nah.
problem. It does not work that way,
Nah.
but
They
they
tell
put
you.
that shit on quarterbacks, bro. And these dumbass people on the internet and on TV, they just run with it because they are not the internet people are just retarded, but the media people know better. You know the ownerships are at play here, but you are not allowed to punish ownership. So you can basically only attack the quarterback or players, and depending on the coach, you can hit the coach too, if they allow that.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Because if I was in the
So
media,
yeah,
I would have ran a whole campaign to get Bill Belichick. I said the NFL is stupid, but you can't say that because then you don't get the interviews, you don't get the people telling you, leaking the information to you. So you have to just let Bill Belichick fade into in glory and go coach college, right? And it's like, what the hell is going on here? Same with Tom, etc. You know what I'm saying? It's like the media knows its place and knows what it can and cannot do. And I think a lot of people don't get that part. Is that they're playing a game. They're trying to stay in business. They have connections and sources that they're trying to protect. So they can't even really offend teams, to be honest with you. Because you got motherfuckers on the internet, across the internet, acting like Cleveland is good. Oh, it's a good idea for him to go to Cleveland. I'm glad he got somewhere. And I'm like, y'all talking about the
it's
same
a
Cleveland team that
dysfunctional
I'm talking about that had 40 coaches in 20 years? That's the team we're talking about right
place,
now.
man.
But if you notice, a lot of players, I could not find until things start to go until the season starts. I was just surprised. I could not find players or anyone really shitting on Cleveland. I was really surprised by that. This is a very bad franchise and a very chaotic franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like everyone has this kind of this understanding, you know. And so we're going to focus on Shadour. I'm saying Shadour is lucky to go to Cleveland.
Not healthy at all,
how
man.
how does that work? How does that work?
Well,
It's probably only good
you
7 or 8
know what's so crazy
franchises.
about it? Because I think the Eagles. Can you imagine him going to the Eagles and they having Shadour there, and then he gets to
I would
show
love
his
that.
talent? It would
I
just
would love that, bro.
somebody would have gave up almost a second round pick, man, for him, because they would have flipped him. They would have flipped the pick.
Philly
He's
would
not
be a
going to go
great
there and
place.
start over Jalen Rose. I mean, not Jalen Rose,
I would love
Jalen Hurts. So he would have went there, moved to stocked up, because he's in a high profile city, high profile division, which is the NFC East.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he would have played all those preseason games, showed out with
NFC's
all the
built for
talent
it.
that they got around him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Have all the talent around him. He gets to throw with those guys. They get to big up him, and they get to talk about it on Sports Center and all that.
Yep.
So I just believe that the destination for trying to get him somewhere quiet, get him somewhere where he can kind of like make it about football, earn his spot, earn his stripes, stuff like that. This is just opinions, but I think that's probably why they picked Cleveland.
There's only 8. I will argue with you. There's only 6 to 8 jobs that's locked, in my opinion, in the NFL when it comes to quarterbacks every year. I was, at least in the last 5 or 6 years, 6 to 8 jobs, in my opinion.
You don't think
outside
it was more
of those
this
6 to 8?
So let me go
outside
down
of those outside of those 6 to 8 jobs, I think the other 22 to 24, I think Shadour or any quarterback, honestly, it doesn't really matter, not even any quarterback, them jobs are going to be open, bro. I'm telling you.
I got you.
With those type of teams and how they are, the timing,
if you show that
and,
kind
and
of
the ownership and the coaches, bro, I'm telling you, outside of Mahomes, I mean, we can go down. I mean, it's literally only 6 or 7, bro, in my opinion. Outside of that, I think all those jobs are available for any quarterback, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because people are thinking their jobs are secure. They are not. Those quarterback jobs are going to be open. Trust me on that.
Because I even think about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is not a finished product. He's not. I mean, he's up in the air. So
Kyler Murray. Let's go to Miami.
Arizona. Miami is, Tua.
Baker Mayfield in Tampa.
Still up in the air. He's a starter, but he's not safe. You know, he could be traded. He could be moved. He just signed a big contract, though. But still, you got Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a lock. They ain't going nowhere. He's franchised. Buffalo.
Your boy, locked.
Josh Allen, locked. They ain't going nowhere.
Just signed a big boy contract.
Carolina. I'm just going down the team. Carolina's Bryce Young, still up in the air, still got something to prove. Haven't panned out as they thought it would. And you want to talk about small? Nobody is smaller than Bryce Young. If I'm not mistaken, Bryce Young like 5'11", maybe 6 feet.
Yeah.
Very small guy, and he's slight too. He's not built built very big. He's not a very stout kid.
Right.
He got some arm talent, but people know that doesn't. But the arm talent, the arm talent don't mean it for a game of Giants that can move as fast or faster than you. It doesn't mean anything on this level, dog. Like if you don't know when to run, when to move, you're just out there. And these guys grab you one time.
No, you fooled, bro.
I seen a lineman. He was engaged. It was one game they had in Carolina. It was a lineman fully engaged with a blocker. Bryce tried to run out of the pocket. He literally grabbed Bryce by the jersey, and as he's falling, being blocked, he drags him down with. He's small. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when all of it counts. You know, big hands, being strong in the pocket. Yeah. He puts the ball on the ground too. He puts what Warren Sapp would call church money on the ground. He fumbles when he gets hit. Because he's small. He's small.
He's not watchable, bro. I can't even watch him.
He's smart. You start to feel bad for him when you watch him. Chicago. So you're right.
Chicago.
He's not a lock.
I felt so bad for him, man.
He's not a lock. So Caleb Williams is going to be. He's going to maybe get this year, and then after this year, hey,
keep going.
It is what it is.
Yeah, his job is open.
Joe Burrow is a lock. So that's 3 so far. Joe Burrow is a lock.
Locked.
Cleveland. We already talked about Cleveland. We know Cleveland is a mess. Dallas, I would say Dallas is a lock. They have proven it. So Dak is one of those. So it's 4. Like it or love it, he's the highest paid in the NFL, folks.
Yep.
So
Detroit,
just
Jared Goff,
let
not
that
a
sink
lock.
in. He's 5 million over the last uh player, which I think is, if I'm not mistaken, I think Joe Burrow got 55, Dak got 60. And then
Yeah.
there are some other guys that got paid after him that hasn't actually succumbed over him, which lets you know where he's at. So
That's right.
it is what it is. Denver, Bo Nix. So Bo Nix is not a lock, but
Nope.
he's moving.
We'll
He's
see.
moving that range. He's moving.
We'll see.
He's progressing nicely
The
though.
off, like you said, the off season tells me the off season says a lot
Yeah,
after the first year.
he's not a lock though.
Or, right.
Jared
No.
Goff is a lock, but he's not traditional lock. So, which means that if there's a young guy that's coming up that can play very, very well, like a Shaduer, so you don't want to draft a Shaduer Sanders and put him in Detroit. Can you imagine that with the running game and a line? Nah, that's your quarterback ain't safe. Yeah, because he fits the same skill set that Jared Goff is, but not only that, he can make more throws off platform than Jared Goff. People know you rush
I
Jared
just
Goff.
think he's.
Hold on,
I just think
you rush Jared Goff, you
it's over.
neutralize him.
Yeah.
You neutralize him.
He's
But
throwing picks.
if
He
you
fumbles the
rush,
ball. I mean,
yeah,
he's
if
terrible.
you rush Shadur can get off platform and he can make plays as what's been on the tape.
Right.
Jordan Love, not a lot, especially after last year. Jordan Love is not a lock, though. Not a lock. He just got paid, but we're talking about locks. We're talking about
Yeah,
guys
but
we
he's
know.
not. Yeah, he's not locked, but he's getting there. I won't.
Yeah,
I'm not going.
but that would be the same. That would be
Yeah.
the same as what I said with Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix gonna get more of a chance. He's gonna have a long
Yeah.
runway with
I would say
Peyton.
Nick, CJ Stroud, and Jordan Love. They have time to become that.
So
They got a couple more years.
Yeah, so they're the second tier of that, but they're not the
Yeah.
locks that we just
They're
talked
not
about.
locked, but it's second tier.
Yeah.
They're not like a
Second
Jared
tier
Goff
locks.
or
Right.
Baker Mayfield. I think them jobs are just
Jared Goff, as long as
they're
he's playing,
placeholders right now, bro.
yeah, but Jared Goff is a placeholder that as long as he's playing at this high level, he's going to remain.
Not if you
He's
want
going
to
to
win.
remain the
You got to
starter.
go. Not if you want to win.
Well, if you get somebody
If Detroit
special,
is serious about getting a championship, you got to cut Goff. He's going to
I don't
lose
know
you.
about
He's
that
going
one.
to
That's
go
a
back
little.
and watch the
I
game,
don't
man.
know.
Go back and watch
No,
the last game.
no.
Just go back and watch the
I
game. I
understand.
ain't got nothing to say about it. Just go watch the game.
I understand.
Okay, I was just
I
checking.
understand. So we got
You know what? Let's go pull the Jared Goff tape out so we can play the last game.
I'm just thinking about these teams. I don't know why more teams didn't take a flyer on them. So you got Houston, you got CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud kind of fell. He fell way back. He fell way back there. So
I know he got
prove
dinged
it.
up some though. I know he was dinged up a little bit, but yeah, he fell back.
He has to prove it. He has to prove it this year. From what he did in his rookie year.
I think these guys. I don't care what you say. I think these guys are really struggling with defenses. That's just how I see it. But
It's that second year, man. I'm telling you, that second year is tough.
They think that when you're in that second year, if you're not focused, what you think you're seeing is not there.
It isn't. Yeah, because what
not there, bro.
Because we talked about it after your first year starting, they're gonna be like, okay, he loves these throws.
Yes,
he loves these throws. What are the throws he don't like to do? When the read takes him there, can he make those? That's the issue. That's the problem.
That's the exposure point.
That's the exposure point. That is the exposure point. Anthony Richardson, all elite traits. I mean, it is what it is. Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony, I don't know yet. So you draft a Shadur there, he's clearly going to be fighting for the job. I mean, you're basically saying to Anthony Richardson, we don't believe in you. This guy's coming in, so you can't do that. But it's that was doable. If you believe in Shadur, you could have drafted him in the third round and let him be like kind of like a placeholder. Well, we'll see what Anthony gonna do. You know, is Anthony gonna play good? Because Anthony don't got no pressure to perform in Indianapolis now. It's all him now. So in Jacksonville, we already know. We already know about Trevor Lawrence. We already know what that is. That's I don't know. I don't know how people hide him. That is bad.
I just want it on the record. Me and you talked, and you was. I think I can't remember exactly, but I think you was like, nah, let Trevor. I think you may have been. Was you on his side, or did you go with me? Because I was a no on him off the rip.
I'm not.
Were you sort of saying?
I can't
remember exactly what you were saying some years back. You were teetering, okay.
I was saying that he deserves a chance because he was young. Remember,
and I liked him. I liked him when he came in.
He should have stayed this is a perfect example of somebody should have stayed one more year in college. He came out too early.
Yeah.
Even though he played early in college, I think he won the championship his freshman year in college, and he kind of got elevated up. And he should have stayed and matured because the way he sees the game is sort of like he is a person that
I
needs to
think the
see
game is
somebody open.
it's too fast for him, bro.
Too fast for him. Yeah, it's too fast.
I
And
think
Trevor
that
has all.
he's
This
not
is not. This is
processing.
not talent. This is nothing. This got
He
nothing to
got
do with
talent.
what
No,
he
he
can
got
do.
talent.
Yeah,
No, he got
it's got
talent.
nothing to do about his
Yeah.
ability. It's just
Yeah.
seeing the game. He just don't
Yeah,
see
I
it.
take him over Baker
He
Mayfield
just
and Tua.
doesn't.
But it's like you say, we're thinking, like you said, what people don't, what we're trying to figure out, it's not even about nobody else, right? What me and you trying to figure out is that, are we seeing those progressions year over year? And with
Yeah.
Trevor's talent, you're not studying in the offseason. You're not
So
focusing
he.
because
We would have made.
you're not, your talent isn't capped out. That means
Yeah.
that you're not processing something right. And I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
you have, and then you got talent on the
Yeah.
field with you. You just got some more talent in
He
the
can
draft.
run. He can do it all. He
Bro,
can
he has
run.
no
He can
excuses
throw.
this
He
year,
can do
bro.
all of it. He's like Josh Allen, actually,
Yeah.
talent wise. Yeah.
But for some reason, he's just not clicking. Though, I think
Nah, don't click.
give him a little more time,
Yeah.
maybe.
He don't even know
Maybe it'll click.
he don't lean on his athletic ability at all. But he
No?
doesn't lean, but he doesn't see the game though. He doesn't see the game in
Yeah,
full
for
view.
some reason, I don't know what he's missing. Yeah.
He'll make some splash plays, but it's not consistent enough. It's a bad spot to be in when you got a guy like him because you're like, damn, you're waiting. You're just waiting. You're just waiting for him to
I told you I
for
want him
that
to be
light
good.
for that
Like,
switch to click over. But
yeah.
it's a good chance he may stay where he's at. So he's not a lock. He's a beloved of tier 2 though. He's not tier 2 either. He's not the tier 2 lock that we talked about. He is below Jordan Love and CJ.
A couple years ago he was, but now he's moving into that
paradox.
You're about to get traded position, in my opinion. He's moving into that space.
Think about in the playoffs, man. Like, nah, man, it's not. Nah,
that
bro.
pressure,
like,
boy, is real, son.
He doesn't do good with pressure. He plays in Jacksonville, so he's protected. So he's not even in the news enough. So could you imagine if he was
same with Justin Herbert?
That's what I'm saying.
It helps. They can hide him.
Exactly. We haven't even got to
8 years ago, but you're like, what happened to it'd be 8 years.
And think about the confusing game that these two guys played against each other. Two underachieving talent supernovas. Justin Herbert and him played, and one guy shows out in the first half, the other guy shows out in the second half. It's clear.
They got too much talent, bro. It's a crime, bro. I ain't gonna hold you on that.
It's a clear indication of what these two guys are. It was the inconsistency of it all. Like they couldn't even play a complete game. It was crazy. It was like, what in the world? But if you watch them play, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some wild throws. You're going to get some wild plays, and then you're going to get and not a short stretch of bad plays. You're going to get a long stretch of like, what?
You're going to get game losing.
The coach is going to sit there and be like, "What in the holy f is going?" Remember they try to compare, but Dak so much, and Dak just came back and just got him, and he had all the receipt. I remember that game where Keenan Allen was just making play after play. It was like incredible plays. Remember that game that him and Dak played, and then he just missed Keenan Allen wide open just in the middle of the field. Me and you just looked at each other like, man, they'd be killing Dak if Dak made. I mean, it was a bad miss too. It was, and Keenan Allen's a big receiver. Keenan Allen's a possession. He catches
big target. Big catch
radius. Keenan Allen catches everything, bro.
Everything.
And Keenan Allen has been, known to kind of like, I guess, sulk a little bit. He just shrugged and just been like, okay, this is the guy y'all chose. I can't do anything. It ain't nothing I can do.
Right. That's facts.
He's the franchise. He's the franchise,
right? He's the guy.
Mike Williams on the other side, like 6'4", 6'5". I mean, huge targets for him because he has a crazy arm. But he the intermediate throws. That's what we talked about. That's one of the hardest throws in the NFL. Can you hit that on time and can you hit it with any accuracy, bro? That is a difficult throw. That throw that Dak throws to CD, that one where he catches that one on the corner, that CD loves. He loves that throw because he he off the gate with it. If he catches that joint on the sideline and he's open, like the one against the Knicks, not the Knicks, but the Giants in the first game of the season when him and Dak was kind of like locked in, he threw that joint to the corner. He loves that play because what he knows ain't nothing you could do because I'm to the corner. If he throws it to my outside shoulder, I got you. Where my hands are basically defending the sideline, you're not there. Boom! I turn around. I'm eating now. I'm loose, baby. I'm in here now. I'm protected. I'm not over the middle. I'm not on the sideline.
All I see is freedom.
That's it, bro. So the next guy is Jacksonville, they kind of stuck with him, but he's not a lock. He's just they just stuck in perpetuity with him. So he's a lock, but in a bad way. Kansas City.
If they re-sign Justin Herbert, he hasn't got his second contract, right?
Justin Herbert hasn't got his
If
contract
they
yet.
sign him again, bro, I'm like, come on, man, y'all playing.
So far we only have 4 locks, 2 tier 2s, and then the rest of these guys kind of fall in within transition.
Yeah, Seattle, Vegas.
Can't KC, of course, Patrick Mahomes. He's the GOAT. He's
Yeah,
he's
he's
the
locked.
generational. He's locked.
Right.
So that's
Chicago is
so
out,
that's
and then when you get
5.
out to California, you have what? You
We
have the
talked about
Chargers
Justin Hubert, and then you
and the
got
Rams.
Matthew Stafford. Is Matthew Stafford?
It's getting ready to retire.
Why wouldn't the Rams? Why wouldn't the Rams
Think
draft him?
about that.
That is
Good God.
perfect. The system,
Yep.
the
Yep.
coaching.
Yep.
Nobody talked about the Rams though.
No.
And the Rams are looking for the next quarterback. They're looking for
Did
the
the
next
Rams?
guy.
Did the Rams even
But you
see him?
know,
I don't know.
but you know what the Rams want to do? They want to draft one of these kids coming up in the draft later, like the next crop of these guys. Because
Okay.
I heard the next year's crop is going to be a little bit better
They
than
want
this
that. They
year's.
want that. That's what they said. They want that. Everybody gonna be chasing Manning.
Yeah, chasing the Manning kid. I don't think Manning gonna come out next year. He may, but it depends on the year. And then of course the Raiders didn't, they didn't take a chance on him. They should have. Miami, we talked about them. Minnesota with that's McCarthy, that's JJ McCarthy. So they
Yep.
cleared the decks for him, so they couldn't draft him.
Yeah. New
New England,
Orleans.
New England got Drake May. New Orleans, they should have drafted him. New
I
York,
want to
they
watch.
should
I want
have
to see what the
drafted
Drake May
him.
play. I want to see what that's gonna be too.
And then you got
That's
the
it.
rest is the New York Jets. I don't know
Uh,
why they didn't do it.
that's
You got
another one. Right.
Philadelphia. So Jalen Hurts is a lock, so that's 6.
Yeah, Hurts is a lot.
Um, you have
I told you it's only 6 to 8.
Pittsburgh. I don't. Yeah, that was weird. They didn't do it. Of course, they went another route.
You already count the
Um,
Redskins locked? I think Jalen's locked for right now.
yeah, well, Washington is the
He
last
had such
team.
a great season.
Washington is a lock, so that's 7. Yeah, he's a supernova.
At least for now. We'll see this year, but
I-
it's
if
looking
I'm
special. I
he
ain't gonna
he
hold you, bro.
he
I'm
he
betting on
looks
him, bro. He looking special, boy.
he
Like
look
he
he
ain't
looks
gonna
like
regress too much.
yeah, because he plays from the head down still, even though he has the
Yeah, man.
athletic
He is.
ability.
Whew,
But he
boy, that boy is
maximizes
special, bro.
his athletic ability. He doesn't
Yeah,
lean on it. So to me, he is better than the young crop. He's better than CJ. To me, I would project
yeah.
him to be better than
He's
CJ
something.
and
Yeah.
and
I don't like
Jordan.
jumping out the window on
Jordan
quarterbacks. I
Love,
don't like doing it, but he might.
the Jordan Love thing and the CJ Stroud thing. I think that was they gaslight. They glazed on that a little bit. They glazed a little bit on that one. they did a little glaze and they did a
I
little.
was one of the
Yeah, they put a
ones
little
though.
sauce on that. They put a little
I'm high
sauce.
on CJ
Yeah,
Stroud and I'm high on
yeah.
Jordan Love.
But
But
the Jaden Daniels thing though, the Jaden
but me
Daniels thing
and you,
appeared to be.
I don't want to say his name, but me and your boy, he was on Jalen. He was on him, bro. And I was like,
what about Brock Purdy?
I don't know. He was like, nah, man, you gotta watch, you gotta trust me. I'm
So
like, okay.
Seattle drafted Jalen Milroe, so they did draft Jalen. So Jalen went there. So Jalen is the quarterback out of Alabama that went to Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what he turns out to be. And then you got San Francisco. Brock Purdy is I would say he's tier 2 if they signed him. Not
They
yet.
offered him. It's there though, right? They're making the deal, right?
He's tier 2 if he gets
That's
drafted.
gonna be by the way, that's gonna be a mistake, just to put that out there.
Baker Mayfield is a transitional
San
starter.
Francisco, I think it's done as a team.
But Baker Mayfield
to an end.
But Baker Mayfield is, because he is a high quality starter, so he's like he's mid, but he's a good mid.
Baker's been consistent. But I don't like his style of play. I know you don't like his style of play, but I don't think you do. You might, maybe you do.
No. The thing about Baker is that he plays a little herky jerky for me sometimes. He plays off not off schedule. He plays more like he freelances as a quarterback. Is what I'm saying. So he takes
risks like your boy in Buffalo, by the way.
Yeah, he calls the play, he takes the play, and then he does this Baker Mayfield thing with it. So sometimes, but he is a guy that I think he sees the field well, but I think he over leverages his talent. So he'll try to make some throws that he shouldn't make, where the ball should go somewhere else, and he just doesn't do that. He still tries to fit in. So he does have a lot of Josh Allen in him. He does, but he has a lot of great talent.
No,
he has the kind of receivers.
That's the maturity.
He has the kind of receivers there that can make those plays for him. They'll make plays like Goodwin.
She said
Of
about
course, the Evans of the
yeah,
world and then the tight end kid.
right,
They're good. There's some
of
good
course.
talent there on that team for
They
sure.
have
But
some compensating, but he has, like you said, it's something that you really got to coach out of him. And I think even Tom Brady was saying that he don't. I agree with them. They're not really developing these guys, in my opinion, like they
nah,
should be. And
nah,
he's even in college. Baker's a good example of that. I think is that he's still thinking that it's almost like they're not respecting the league. You have to respect these defenses, but you have to really understand what you're doing. You can't, whatever that's in you, because Josh Allen pulled it back. That's why he went from about 23 interceptions to 10 last year, because somebody finally maybe got to him and said, "You got to play within the game, bro. All this shit that you doing, like that does
yeah,
it's not college. Like it's not going. You keep thinking it's going to work. Trust me, it's never going to work.
it ain't gonna work, man.
Who got a championship learning the hard way about this? His name.
It ain't gonna
He's gonna be
work.
one of the. He's gonna be one of the greatest quarterbacks in history,
These
Patrick Mahomes. What did he
these
learn?
these corners are now like receivers now. So these guys are basically converted receivers now.
Yep,
Most of them. They're
yep.
tall. They're
They're even
rangy.
more
They're fast.
deadly.
They're quick. They're more fluid than the Richard Shermans of the world, but they
Yeah,
got the same athletic gifts. So they're
yep.
quick. They attack the ball. The guy that's out of Denver. He's a great corner. I think I think is it Humphrey, if I'm not mistaken. I forget his last name, but he plays for Denver. He's a great corner. And then you have um Sauce in for the Jets, Sauce Gardner for the Jets. He's a
Yeah,
great
South
corner
Gardner.
too.
Yeah.
So you got guys, man. These guys they don't play, man. When it comes down, there's a great corner out of Houston too. He's real good. So there's some guys that can play, man. But they don't get the pub like some of the other guys, the greats that came before them. They got limitations, but they can make you pay. If you make a bad throw, they're gonna make you pay off the limitations of what your skill set is, because these guys still try to they still try to force balls where they don't need to go. And that's what CJ Stroud and Jordan Love have to learn, because now you are a second. Now you're moving into a starter. Now people are studying you. So it's a
It's
different thing. So
different.
now they're looking at you, and every throw that you make, it matters to them. Whether you're throwing it away, what you look, what you do with this certain defense that you look at, how do you look at a certain game when you look at an 8-man front? So you got to be able to counter within the counter when you're looking at when you start to kind of become that next level of quarterback. So we got the high processing level. To me, it begins and ends with Dak. Now at the highest of that, when he's on his game, he's processing the game from head, shoulders, at a very, very efficient rate outside of these guys, because they're still young, of course. And then you got your Patrick Mahomes, where he's putting the talent, the elite talent, skill set, and all that together, where he's unflappable in pressure situations. And then you got
he's supernova. Yeah, he's
yeah,
nova.
you got
Yeah.
Josh Allen, where he's
Yeah.
learning how to still play a little bit. So he's starting to kind of
No, like I
incorporate that
told you,
kind of thing. And then
him.
Lamar Jackson's and all them. So
If they had an Andy Reid type mindset on those two organizations, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
true.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, you can see like it's just a few little things, a few little adjustments, and I think all three of them have rings at this point. Not just Mahomes, but the other two. I think they would at least got one by now. Just a few little adjustments here and there, and those games would have had those games.
Especially Buffalo. Buffalo would have at least one.
Especially Buffalo. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially Buffalo.
Yeah, they didn't build teams around him that were pretty solid. That
Monsters, bro.
just hasn't won.
Solid.
Yeah. Buffalo should have at least had one ring or went to one Super Bowl at least. Yeah. Like do the same thing like Jalen Hurts. You surround them around a great team, but that lets you know the difference between decision making. Like if you get a good decision maker that got elite, athletic traits that can put a game together, and they don't have that ego where they got to try to make everything. Because Jalen Hurts ain't gonna do that. Jalen Hurts is gonna be like, okay,
plays within
that
the
guy
game.
ain't open.
That's why he's a champion, bro. That's why it's the separation. Yeah,
that guy ain't open. I'm gonna tuck it and run, or we're
not
gonna
the fastest, not the biggest, not the strongest, not anything, right?
See another day, right?
He's not concerned about proving nothing to nobody. Nope. I don't gotta be anything. I'm good. Nope. He just plays with it, man. You can just see it.
That's what I was talking about.
So obvious.
Playing within structure. He does that.
Playing within structure.
Does that very, very well for an athletic guy
Right.
that supposedly has his gifts
Right.
athletically.
But he's not going to have 6,000 yards and 50
He's gonna play
touchdowns, the
within
stat
structure.
pad to get the
That is,
attention, get all the accolades and awards. He just plays within what's given to him, and he's not caught up in trying to do these other things.
and that was what I was
get the
talking about
rings.
with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield doesn't do well playing within structure. He gets bored with it. You can tell he wants it to get sloppy. He wants the game to get messy.
He wants to turn off.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He wants the game to get messy. Like, what's
Hard
going on?
Boring.
Like, what? He don't want it.
But boring won Tom Brady 7 rings.
Boring wins, dog. Boring
7
wins.
rings.
Ask Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes will ugly win you to death. Once you get a great quarterback with that kind of talent to win ugly, it's hard to beat him.
You're not beating him. You're really not going to beat him unless something is deficient on his team.
Well, you need another one of those ones. That's what it's going to ask. You're going to have another one of those ones because he's not going to give the game to you. You see what I'm saying? He ain't going to give it to you. But see, Baker going to do that. Baker going to throw it. He going to throw it over here. He going to throw it over there. Kurt does
Josh
that.
Allen
Kurt doesn't get like that.
Kurt does it. Josh Allen does it.
Because
Lamar does it.
Kurt is limited, so Kurt is trying to still
Russell
make
Wilson does it.
Comfortable with.
Tua does it. I mean, all the guys who drop down a tier, that's what they do.
There's a lot of them to do it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but Baker likes living in chaos like that. That's what I'm saying. Because he's gonna make incredible plays. He's gonna make a great play. He's gonna be like, "Damn, that's great." And then the next play, he's like a more efficient Geno Smith, if that makes sense. Like Geno and them, they'll fall apart. So it's Geno, and then
Geno falls apart.
There's Winston, Jameis Winston, man. James,
that don't even. He can't be in this conversation. Yeah, that's not even.
Jameis ain't studied nobody's playbook. Like Jameis is just completely like you can tell Jameis.
He live in his own world, bro. Like
Jameis, like I know when they see him, coaches see him in practice, like because talent wise, he's special too. He does all of this. Like Jameis got all this talent.
That talent's crazy.
But you look at James, you be like, what did you see right there?
Right.
Like, what made you throw it right there, man? Like,
I know, man. And it's almost like he sabotages all his good games for some reason. You just gotta wait for it. Bro. Because I remember he came in. He came in and took over the New Orleans job, and I said, "Oh, I forgot how good he was." And then I just kept watching, and I said, "Oh, there it goes. That's it.
There it go. There you go." Because what the defense got to realize is okay.
And the defense know he's gonna bite because they know his tendencies already. Because they, like you said, they studied him over the years.
Yeah,
you gotta be patient. Yep.
You got to give him a couple of wins. So you got to let
make him feel good. Make him feel good.
Yep. Right. You don't want to force him into structure because the thing is, when you force him into structure, then he's better off that way.
Like he was cooking. He cooking.
So now, because it means that okay, you throw the ball here when this defense coach, you throw it here. Like he has to have a design set. But once you throw him off a little bit and you kind of give him a little bit, you show him a little candy, it's like playing dominoes. All money ain't good money, man.
Yep, facts. Yeah, same thing.
You just go for boat ride, 25, but you don't understand. You didn't put out big 6, and you don't have no more 6s. You can't.
That's right.
You can't do nothing. So now you gotta eat the pal, and you eating the
pal. All of it too. You taking all of it too.
Yeah, you got boat ride, but shit, I mean, you 50, 55 in a hole, and you can't play none of these things. This dude running, I know you pass because I know what you got. Just close you out, man. It's one of those things, man, where like it's the quarterback position, man. The reason why I just kind of compare it to life and politics and everything else is because as unpredictable as it is,
corporations, the whole thing, all of it.
As unpredictable it is, it's like that position where it shows you what you do need on a team and how you need to build your team. Like, and it all begins there because at that position, it tells you the truth about every position that's on your field. Like you can't hide everybody else either. Everybody else can't hide behind it because whatever your quarterback can do is basically going to affect the whole team. The way you play defense, the way you play, running game, the way you coach, situational football, all of it, man. Can you trust this guy?
And every team has different clocks. Some teams give you 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
Some teams give you 1 year. So you don't even, everybody's on this clock, and all these different teams are moving in different ways and different, you just don't know. depending on which team you get put on. Because some teams will give you plenty of time to develop, and they'll do some things to help you out and improve. And then other teams, they use you up for a year or two and get you up out of there. On to the next draft pick.
So this is just going to close our chapter on the Deion situation. Do you want to just like
Yeah,
just
we're
do this
moving
as
on.
a separate video and then just go back to the Trump 100 days like tomorrow or later on today? Because we
Yeah,
already been how long we been on now?
2 hours, 14 minutes.
So we could just separate it. Just make this like the last part of the Dion discussion, and then just come back and just do the Trump 100 days. Because I don't want to shorten that because that's going to be a whole lot we can get into. Just make that just a political discussion, since we
Cool,
just
cool,
delve
cool.
into the sports side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can
So
do
maybe
that.
we could do that tomorrow. We can get into that tomorrow if you want.
Either
Tomorrow or later
tomorrow
on
or
today.
later on tonight if you got
Yeah,
time later on.
yeah. We could do that tonight. So
We can
yeah,
do an
just
hour or two. That's it. Keep it under 2 hours,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Separate. I think we need to separate those two. Just make it get back to the politics, man, because we are a politics channel, you know. But that
A lot of politics
incorporates
in
that.
football.
Yeah, that kind of incorporates it. So just to kind of finish it up, I think that the Dion thing, man, it was just a perfect storm, man. You just can't attribute it to one thing. It's just so many no. It's like any simple explanation would not do. Like you can't just put, oh, it's just this. Oh, it's that. This is what it is. I'm gonna tell you what you was missing. No, you can't tell me what I was missing because it's all of that. Everything had its piece on creating what it ended up being for Shador, Deion. I think Deion said on one of his Twitter posts, my son gonna be a top 5 pick. I mean, that's rich, bro. I mean, even before, dude, you get blue chippers that fall, you know,
Yeah.
12th,
And I hate
13th.
to say it, I was
Like,
trying to
you
say he wasn't
cannot do
LeVar
that.
Ball,
You
but he
cannot do
actually
that, bro.
became LeVar Ball, bro. I was trying to say he couldn't because he's a Hall of Famer, top 2 greatest player, top 3, top 4 greatest player of all time,
Yeah,
top number 1 corner of all time. So I figured, two,
second best athlete to ever play football. I
right,
mean,
right.
really, maybe
Played in
third or
2
fourth.
different sports,
Yeah, but playing two different sports at a high level, it's him and
right?
Bo
So
Jackson. Yeah, no
yes,
doubt
but I
about
but
it.
I but I figured that I know that his son isn't at that level of talent, but he's in the mix.
Nah,
I
nah.
figured that he wouldn't be looked at as LeVar Ball because I was saying this before in the last call is that he does deals. He doesn't rub what do they call them? Ad agency, products, whatever they call it, right? Like he
Yeah,
doesn't rub he doesn't rub them the wrong way. He does deals with Nike. He does deals with whoever. Like he
yeah,
brings
yeah,
everybody in together. So he's not.
yeah.
So from a business perspective, I figured that he's not trying to disrupt anything. He's trying to be within the system.
Yep.
And then he's a Hall of
But
Famer. So I
remember,
figured that
he's in
he,
the
he
system, but
even
he's
though he
doing
was,
it. He's doing it his own way, though. That's another thing, down.
yeah,
Now, some people in the system, it's a certain way that the freeway runs. Now,
yeah, but
when he
nobody's doing it their
when he
own way
sits there
but
and
him.
say, no, but I'm saying he's like, I'm trying
Nobody
to
else
go
is
my
really doing
own
it.
lane. Yeah, I'm trying to create my own lane, but he can't create an ecosystem within his own lane. That's the problem with Dion. You're
I
still on
think
the freeway. You're still
I
on the
think
freeway, but
no,
you
I
thought you
think
could
he
create your
can
own toll
if
road and your own ecosystem.
no,
He's
he can
creating it.
do it. He
He's
can do it. But
creating it, but it takes time. Okay,
no,
I
no,
get
not
that.
not only that and this is what I'm about to say is it's almost I'm assuming maybe it's not possible to do both. If he could have figured out, and maybe he could do it for the kids in the future. If he can find the balance there, and I'm not saying there is one. Maybe you have to go all the way or not. But if there was a way for he could say, you know what, I'm monitoring the negativity, I'm monitoring the responses, I'm having backroom conversations. Let me figure out a transitional play here.
Yeah,
Let me figure out, is there a way to maintain the popularity, keep building the brand, my son's brand,
yeah,
but make sure on the back end because I can see. Oh, maybe because he's been doing it for 30 years, right? He should have been. I think he should have been able to kind of see like this can turn on us at any time. So we're
yeah,
not going to victimize ourselves and keep pushing forward. We're going to maybe tweak it a little bit, and then see how the world responds to it, and respond from that perspective. Like absorb the negativity and say, you know what? Okay, things are kind of moving this way. Okay, son, do this next, or try this, or let's do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying what I don't even know what that would be, by the way. And again, I don't even know if it's possible. But it would have been curious to see if he noticed, like, you know what, they're gonna hit him pretty hard. That's what I'm feeling right now. And
Mhm.
so, we're gonna keep projecting positivity, but on the back end, let's start doing this, and this to make sure that you're not looked at as overhyped or overvalued. Let's make sure we get into these spaces, but see, and like you said, would there have been a smarter way? Well, I'm hindsight 2020 at this point, right? He was building such a aura around Shadour and connecting it to himself, connecting it to Travis Hunter, and etc. Right, and so he's doing all those things. I wasn't sure maybe he couldn't really do it that way. Maybe this way was the only way. You just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
But I figured he should have known something though. He should have picked up on something. He should have said something. Should have triggered him to say, you know what, let's do something a little bit different at this moment because this is about to happen. It's about to get real. Maybe we should move a certain way. Like I said, not changing necessarily the perception of the aura or pushing the brand, but in the back room, the phone calls, the back end stuff, cleaning a lot of that stuff up, whatever that needs to look like. But again, I'm just guessing here, boys.
Yeah, I mean, this is all like in hindsight.
Yeah, it's
Clearly,
hindsight. It's
clearly,
hindsight.
nobody or not that many people had an idea that it was going. Like I said, it just turned out the way
We
it
have
turned
no
out.
idea because, like you said, we
Yeah,
can't see things,
it,
right?
it turned out the way it was going to turn out. The energy around the rooms, clearly, people that because you got to think about it. Some people probably thought he was going to be off the board anyway. So by the time they come to the third round or the
They
fourth
weren't even looking
round,
at him because they already knew he was
yeah,
gone.
they already had players that they was going to be
Yeah,
looking like that they liked that they basically interviewed.
yeah.
People got to remember, like people set up their draft boards and
It's
then they
done.
set it up
It's
for the
already done.
players that they want, and
It's
then
done.
each round has a player that's in mind, right?
Yeah.
Or these are the players that so these players get taken. Okay, these are the next players that are up, and I'm pretty sure that nobody saw him going past the second or third round, so that throws
Right.
a little bit. You know what I mean? It throws you off, and then
That's
after
a
a while,
big
you be
deal. It
like, "Well,
throws
damn."
everything off.
Like if nobody's picking him up, like something is really wrong. Even the teams that didn't really talk to him that may, be interested in some kind of way, but they'd be like, I don't know. Maybe we
It's
don't,
like you said, it's real
we don't want
time.
all that
It's
kind of
it's it's
yeah,
it's
exactly.
real time.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's a lot of moving parts. It's just the perfect storm, man, of a fall
Man,
that could happen. So yeah. I mean, it's more than one thing. It's not anybody just telling you that this is the thing that happened, or this is the one thing that really did him in is dealing with a hyperbole. It's so
that's why
many different moving parts. It's
I
not
want to believe
it's
that,
not
but
just
it's
one
don't think
thing.
it is.
Yeah, it's not just one thing that did him
I
in.
mean, collusion or whatever. It sounds
Oh
good
no,
for
no,
him,
no. That's what I'm saying. Nah,
but
nah,
the
that's
more
what I'm
you
saying.
spend
It's
some time
too
thinking about, it, it's like
I
I just
I did not
that's
say
what I
that.
thought
I did
about.
not say that to make the point that it was collusion. I'm just saying that collusion doesn't have to be something that happens within the meeting. It could be just something understood, like how Colin Kaepernick. I don't think that it's something that's I think it's something that's just understood, like we're not taking this guy. Like nobody's picking
Right.
him up. If he act a certain way, if he does these things, then we're not taking a chance on him. So just take it off our board, take it off.
And like you said,
We're not gonna do it.
as
So
a coach,
yeah.
and the other thing is that, like you said, that's why the media people want to eat on stuff. So I understand it, but if you try to put yourself in the position of a football team, your job is on the line every day. The last time I checked, as a coach, as a scout, as a GM, right? Your job's on the line. It's a lot of pressure
Man,
in
it's a
football because
lot of pressure, especially for teams that fail
yeah.
on a
So
yearly basis, like
on a
Cleveland,
yearly basis, right?
and the turnover is very, very high,
Yeah.
extremely high. Quarterbacks don't stick there. You know, franchise players don't stick
They're on
there.
their 40th coach.
It's
Just think
I,
about that.
I
They're not
thought
the
it was
only
the
team that's
40th.
chaotic, by
I
the
thought
way.
it was the 40th QB since 2000. It's
I
something
think QB is like
crazy.
25 or 26 for the QBs. But they ran through
It's
coaches.
crazy.
Maybe I got it
It's a
reversed. Maybe it is
crazy
40,
number.
40 quarterbacks and 20 coaches, but it's a crazy number on both.
Yeah, it's a
It's very
crazy
unstable.
thing. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
40 quarterbacks, man.
That's
Starters.
insane. That's
That's
insane.
that's no that's no stability, man. I mean, you don't even want somebody that you don't like, because
Yeah.
that it's hard to even do it. It's hard to even
And you got to shrink
how
it.
do you
We know
how
that
do you
20,
how do you
20
how
to
do you
22
see
teams
somebody's talent?
don't need a quarterback and probably don't even need the backup quarterback.
But
Maybe
you remember
maybe a
they went like
third
5 years
string.
where they drafted in the first round. Every year they had a
Dude,
quarterback coming
they
out. It was
have
like
two.
Brandon.
They have
It
two
was the
number one. They
Brandon
have
Weeds
two
of the
picks.
world, Johnny Manziel, Baker
Yeah,
Mayfield. I mean, it just
trying
they
it
had
through them.
guys come in. It was just like, jeez.
And they got the first
Uh,
round pick next year.
I forgot the kid from Notre Dame. He
You know
went
that, right?
there. Like, it was a lot of quarterbacks, man. It was a lot of quarterbacks that came through there that just did not pan out, bruh. Like, it was just Siberia, literally.
I think they got two picks next year in the
A
first round.
bad franchise. Yeah. Yeah. And
They can do it all over again.
Kevin Stefanski, they have won a little bit better. What not when I say win, I mean they have been over 5 games
Yeah,
winning at least.
yeah,
So they have
yeah,
been at least semi-competitive, but
yeah.
still, man, it's just it's a
But it's not stable.
troublesome franchise, man. Yeah. Very. It don't matter where you was drafted either. It doesn't matter. I don't care who the player is. I mean, you got Miles
Man,
Garrett is a transformative pass rusher. This
he's a Hall of
guy
Famer.
should be, yeah, exactly. Joe Thomas, their other tackle that was there for 15
But
years on the left side.
they
Okay, he's
signed
a
him,
Hall
right?
of Famer.
He's gonna stay though. That's crazy.
Well, they paid
You
him
don't want a
crazy,
championship ring, right?
but they
I would
paid.
went to the Ravens, bro.
But see,
First
that's
chance
the
I had
money.
out, I am
That's
going
that.
to
That's
the
that
Ravens.
money. That's that money. They paid this dude. I think they got him
Crazy
at,
money, bro.
it's like 40, 41, 42 or something. It's something
Yeah,
crazy, dog. Like he get a quarterback money
yeah,
to
it's
remain in
crazy.
Cleveland.
I know.
Because
How did
he bet, dude. When your franchise defensive player write out a letter saying I'm asking to be traded. This
right?
Normally that happens. Like when you write out a whole letter in the off season and you say this is Sayonara Cleveland, and then was crazy where they signed you for the largest contract, so not everybody know why you there. Like it's just like
Yep.
you don't want to be here, bro. Like the
No.
only reason why you here is just to remain, to get paid this
Money
crazy.
over the ring, man. Legacy money, man. I guess I
Yeah,
get it.
it's the money.
It's the
But
money.
man, because like I said, he should have been out of there, bro. Like I mean, the letter he wrote at the beginning of
Bro,
all
he
things,
could go wherever he wanted to go. Kansas
yeah,
City, Buffalo,
but
the
it would have
Ravens,
been like instead of 45,
the Cowboys.
it would have been like 35, 32, 33. Some
Hey,
tweets where you got to squeeze. You're not going to get paid that kind of, because that's why Micah thing that went up. Now, Mike, we got to be a Micah damn near 45, 56, 50 million a year. Like it's going to be
cut
crazy.
him.
I don't know how that
Cut
Dallas
him.
going to be so. They're going to be they're going
Cut
to
him.
be so buried under the
Let Micah go. He's a once in a lifetime talent, but we can't pay you, bro. Sorry.
We paid our receiver upwards of 30-something million. We got our quarterback at 60. We're gonna have you at 50. Like,
Y'all right back in that trap,
that's
bro. It
three.
didn't
That's
take long.
three
You see that?
players.
You see it? You watch it happen. You see how long? It didn't take long, right? You
Three
right back
players.
in that same trap.
That's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
You want production. You don't want injuries. You're over the cap. You're maxed out. You don't have any money. You can't do anything. Man, it's just.
Yeah, and that's
It's
why they
not
got to
smart,
go through the
man.
draft. Yeah, you can't get free agency because
Yep.
where your money gonna go? Yeah, you got max. You
Right.
got max
Why
players
Philly picking up guys every year. It's crazy.
because they keep the
Have a
money
guy
moving.
for a year or two, 1 or 2 years.
They
They
keep the
They
money
make
moving.
some runs.
Yep, they keep the money moving. The money's just so fluid. They sign
Yep.
people early in Philly, so they'll sign you at the top of the position, and then they don't disrespect you with it, but they signing you early, so you listen more when you're not up. You're not to the end of your contract, because if you're gonna take me to the end of my contract, what are we negotiating? You already let me know that I wasn't that special to even have a conversation with. So I'm let me go to free agency, baby. You know what I'm saying? Let me see free agency. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what's up. That's what's Philly just does business a lot better than everybody else, man. That's what I mean. They got a great organization. The way they got a nice system going now. You pay
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts at the top of the quarterback. You don't pay him the top money, but you get him up in the top 3, top 2, and then because people are going to leapfrog him anyway, and you live with that. He gonna take it because he ain't at the end of his contract. So you're like, damn, they showed me love, so they trust me. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and sign that crazy contract and keep the money moving, keep the money moving. So now it's gonna look like you got to steal, because now he's going to be pushed down to like top 10, top 11. He's going to fall down that tree because everybody else is going to leapfrog him. So it's very smart what they did. They signed him before they signed, Herbert. Shit, even Tua got signed after. Tua's making more money than Jalen Hurts, which is insane to me. But yeah, to meet you. Tua stays hurt. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Tua getting like 55, 50, 55, 52, 53, somewhere around there. He's over 50 million. So anyway, man, we can get up out of here, man. We did enough football talk. But
They could have
that's the last of the
could have
Shadur
got
talk.
Dak
So that's it.
27, 28.
But what happened with Dak is that they waited too long
Had to pay him
on his
50.
contract.
What is it,
Yeah,
45,
so
whatever it was the first one.
yeah, they could have paid him right after Carson Wentz got paid. They could have paid
Yep.
him right then, but they decided to
32, I
wait.
think it was going to be
Decided to wait.
at that
Yeah, it
at,
was
at that
30
point.
something million. Think about it, 30 something million. Then you end up paying them
It
40,
was less
top
than
of
that
top
before
of the
Carson
league.
Wentz. It was in the 20s.
That's what I'm saying. 40, that's what I'm saying. So it could have been a 28 million. And then you start his cycle up, 28 million.
Yep.
Then the next one probably would have been like 40 something, high
Yep.
40s. So you not be where you at right now. So you just, yeah. Not unless you wasn't gonna keep him. But I think they always didn't know whether it was gonna keep him or not. So it's a it's a difficult thing. I can't you can't really, like I said, these things are fluid. The league is tricky that way because he was becoming who he was becoming in the middle of these contracts too. So it's like
Like I
it's a
told you, I said
very unique
when
relationship.
he got hurt, I was like, everybody's going to call because Jerry wants attention. He's sending out messages as if he don't want him, which he's been lying
Yeah.
the entire time. It's been this
Yeah,
complete
he
media
lied. He
stint.
lied like him. Yeah, that's crazy. Don't lie.
And
Yeah, he
then he
loved that.
knows in those back rooms,
He
as
loved him.
far as you don't, because like you said, we know that we're talking about just championships.
Yep.
The most talented, the fastest, biggest arm, 6'5",
Nah.
perfect quarterback guy is not winning rings.
Nah.
Period.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great to draft in college because it's exciting. It gets your team, it gets your organization
Trevor
excited.
Lawrence. Perfect example.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, right? It's exciting. It's exciting.
Justin
Yada yada
Herbert.
yada. You make money
Justin
off of it.
Herbert. Perfect example.
But the people,
Them
look at the last
two in
20
particular.
championships, bro.
Them two in
Can't make it
particular.
up.
Them two in particular are like Josh Allen, but they don't have the winning traits that Josh Allen has. So they have the same
Josh is
kind of skill
special.
set and everything. So yeah, Josh is special in that way. Yeah.
Special, bro.
Yeah, because he's a gamer too. Josh Allen is a gamer.
Game.
Yeah, he a gamer. Those guys are not so much. not so much, bro. Not so much, bro.
Like I keep telling you, Buffalo, if Josh Allen stays healthy, they're going to win a championship. They are so close.
They're close.
If Josh can just make that little adjustment, if he doesn't make it, then he doesn't win. But the next 3 years, if he can just make that little adjustment, he may win too if he crack it. But like you say, it's like a cold. We saw it in the NBA. We see it everywhere. Some teams just get a good hot run and they just go. They win 1 year and we know it's a hot run. They're not going. They don't have anything set to go back to back multiple times. But certain teams like Kansas City, we've seen it in the NBA as well, where they figure out.
To beat Kansas City, man. They, like I say, when they went, because the thing is, they can win ugly. They can win ugly, so they don't. It does. Patrick Mahomes can beat you 35 to 40. I mean, 42 to 35, and he could beat you 17 to 10. 17 to that's a hard. That's that Tom Brady shit. It's difficult.
Don't feel no way about it
because he could turn the game over to his defense. Literally, and the defense is going to carry him. They could play an ugly game like that, running the football, they ain't throwing the ball as much. You look at the game, you be like, damn, Pat only had like 150 something yards passing and 1 touchdown, and maybe ran 1 interception. He didn't have a great game, but they won though. That's what I'm saying. But they won. It's like that would throw you off, man. And Josh got to throw like 300 something yards and run like 50 and get like 2 touchdowns on the ground, running the option. So it's the throws that he doesn't make that's going to win those games for him.
Well, it's more like you just said it though. It's more about him than the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's the throws that he don't make.
When you look at Mahomes' play, he flipped it. But that was some years ago. Something triggered. I don't know what he figured out.
He been flipped it.
But he flipped it.
He been flipped it a long time ago.
Remember, Lamar is in the Super Bowl. I think it was the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. He was in the Super Bowl or the championship game. I forget which one it was. And he started playing a whole other style of football. I'm like, well, who is this person?
Yeah, it's 2 years ago.
What is this? What's happening right now?
He tried to go throw for throw with Patrick, man.
bruh, play your
Let
game
your
and play within the game.
let your athletic gifts take over, man. They fooled you into they bailed him, they made him into a
Got
thrower
in his
that game.
head.
It just when he
Got
threw
into the
that ball in
OC's
the end
head. Got into the
zone,
coach's head.
that's what I'm saying. When he threw that ball into the end zone, I'm just like, man, that drive was just they made you eat that whole drive, and
Yep.
you threw that ball to him in the end zone, and your team. I thought he was going to be crushed. Last year was tough too, but that year when it was
Last year
that
was
close,
tough.
it
The
was
year before last
AFC Championship
was
game.
hard. That was it.
Yeah, that was tough because it was just like they were close because Patrick wasn't out there lighting up the field. He wasn't doing everything out there. His
Oh, they
defense
were
won that
beatable.
game.
His
Yeah, his
defense won.
defense
They
won
were
it.
beatable.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that
yeah,
Kansas defense is sneaky,
absolutely,
bro. They be
absolutely.
sleeping on their defense sometimes.
They
You
did
see
not
a lot of
talk
times.
about. They did not talk about
Nope.
those those boys over there on that defensive side. Them boys go hunting on that side of the
That's
ball,
right.
man. They are not to be played with,
Yeah.
for
And they
real.
really do frustrate Buffalo
Yep,
and
and
the
Baltimore.
Ravens. We
Yeah,
see it every year,
they
4
take
years in
their
a row
running
at
it.
this point.
Chris Jones, they got a franchise level DT. He takes
Yep.
away that middle of the field. You cannot
Yep.
do anything up in the middle of the field. You
Yep.
ain't gonna run on. You're not gonna run on Kansas City all day, buddy. That ain't happening.
Not doing that either. That's right. You gotta play football.
Yeah,
You gotta play
you got to
football.
play ball. Yeah,
You gotta play
you got to
ball.
get the plays when you got to get them. Yeah, we ain't giving
That's
nothing up
right.
to you. Yeah,
Nope.
you gonna have to make plays. You gonna have to
Nothing
make
cheap, nothing deep.
plays, bro. And that's the thing. They make you play smart football to beat them. That's the
Yeah.
benefit of a great coach.
I
That's
think
the
Tom
thing.
Brady, if you compare Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, and who he brought down with him, and how they forced Big Red, number 2, Big Red, how they forced him to play and change his style of coaching. That
Yeah,
if you can't learn from that, I don't know what else to tell you.
yeah.
You
He
know,
learned too.
because he was doing that whole what did he call it? What was the phrase that the coach had about throwing the ball down the field, about throwing deep balls all the time? He had some
Oh yeah. I forget.
goofy
Yeah,
ass phrase is why he
yeah,
always wanted to throw the ball down the field all the time.
yeah. True,
And
true,
Tom was
true.
like, "We gave it your first 6 games. We tried it your way. Let me
Yeah,
do it my way. I got
yeah.
you." And that shit was masterful. It was a masterpiece, bro. With AB and man, oh my god, bro. And you still had Evans and what's his face too, with Leonard, with Fournette.
Mhm.
I said, you gave Tom all he needed. They just gonna go to work.
Gonna go to work on you.
But it was a great team before he got down there. It was a good team. But Jameis
Yeah,
Winston,
talent wise, absolutely perfect.
talent
Perfect
wise,
example of it too.
yep.
Yeah,
But it showed you how a coach can squander things. A coach has his own philosophy,
yeah.
and you push
Is
the
that Bruce?
quarterback
Was
to
that
do
Bruce?
things. And,
Bruce
yeah, Bruce
Arians. Yeah,
Arians.
Bruce
Bruce
Arians.
Arians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he had that dumbass phrase they kept talking about the whole time. Like, what are y'all
Yeah,
talking
like chuck
about?
it or something, chuck it and make it something, yeah, some kind of,
Something.
some throw,
It's a cool
throw it,
phrase though, but it's stupid for
where you
NFL
just throw, you just be
college shit.
aggressive,
Yeah.
continuously be aggressive, regardless. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
As soon as we get off the call, I'm gonna remember what he says. By the way, as soon as I
it's
get
gonna
off the
be
call.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because
that
like you
is a
said,
good challenge phrase.
even with Tom Brady, they would say, well, he's dinking and dunking to championships.
Hmm.
Well, his arm ain't the same. Into but more championships. Right? He's not as
That's
athletic
all.
as other guys. More championships.
Doesn't
More
matter,
playoff
bro.
victories.
Does not matter, bro. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so
It's a
many quarterbacks
strategy.
that
It's a strategy to football, man.
they came in after him that were like way more talented.
Yep.
But they were not better football players. They were not better at the quarterback position than he was.
Yep.
It's just, it is what it is, man.
I think he's one of the it doesn't get as far as examples go. I just don't think it get better because even Pat Mahomes, even
Peyton
what's the
Manning.
boy, even Peyton Manning with being you, we watch all the games, right? What we saying? Yeah, Peyton, bro.
Yeah.
Look at some like, bro, you can't do it all.
Nope.
There is a limit for whatever reason. There's a limit to that. And you're gonna be that paralysis by analysis shit, and you're gonna get rolled, and Tom is gonna roll you,
Yep.
and he rolled him. Couldn't win what 2 for 9 in the playoffs, something like that. At the time,
bruh.
Great regular season, terrible in the playoffs because things get tighter. You need to use your coaches and your people to help you, and you just trying to do everything. And we saw him fried itself, basically. And that's how I looked at it, at least. Let everybody do their job, and you focus on quarterbacking. But he got it 1 year,
Agreed.
right? He got it though. He got it. I mean, and you know what's so funny? If I think the way he had got hurt after the injury, he was on Denver. I think that's when he finally realized it. By the way, you didn't have to do all that before.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do all that. You know what I'm saying? You have the talent and the skill, and you understand defense. Let everybody else do their job, and you focus on your thing, and you just work down the field every play. You're doing too much other. You could literally see him where he had less talent, but still had the brain power with a good team. You go to the Super Bowl and win.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Crazy.
we can shut it. We can shut it down. We can shut it down. Any last thoughts?
Nah, man. Just that whole Deion situation, man. It's just it was very, very unique. There was a confluence of things coming together at the same time that kind of made it what it was, and it's something that hopefully he can learn from. And now it's up to him on being the player that he can and could be. It's all on him now. He got his chance, and it's up to him. Up to him to kind of make it work. So, no, that's it, man.
Did you see the video of him already working out? Flew in to Cleveland early.
Yep.
A week before everything starts.
Yep, a week before the mini camp. Yep, and that's a good way of doing it.
Keep that playbook. Already there, already connecting with people.
Yeah, work.
Getting the playbook, training, out there training already. Went to go see the kids at the
because the thing is he's working with church money, because technically if I looked at him, and if I think he is what I think he is, and like I say, I could be wrong, but if I think he is what I think he is,
we got you on record.
I think he's better than them already. So him getting there early to get started, it should be a quick recognition that, okay, yeah, he's he got it. Even if they try to freeze him out, it's still going to be people going to know around the league. They're going to pretty much figure it out pretty soon that, yeah, he's capable, and it's up to him to take it from there. It's up to him.
All right. Well, this is the Code Breaker. This is Paradox.
This is DC. Until next time. Peace.